Blast ahoy and g'day once again to ye mateys! I be your egregiously wily and underhandedly shrewd DM Josh the Pirate, and it makes me more excited than bullseyeing womprats in my T16 back home to welcome you back to Corsair's Cove for the official start of a new season. No, that's not correct. The ongoing part of my new season in my Humblewood world of Monsters and Magic.
Somebody didn't update their sheet.
I updated most of it, I just don't normally put that in there. With me, I have my hearty crew, the devious Daria Sun Protected, and the Machiavellian Brendan Ellis. And the crafty Karen Schlink is also here. So, let's talk about these splendid and lovely folks, shall we? Daria, who the heck are you?
I'm Daria. I twirl my evil mustache as I do my furry porn commissions usually. I'm an artist. My art.
We didn't even have to make the joke for her.
No.
Yeah, I got it this time. My art is here on the channel in terms of emotes and portraits, and that's about it. I'm cool like that.
The Lorite just dropped an inspiration on Julio and Eric. No more.
Yo.
Everybody's got them now. Thank you very much, Ardana.
Nice.
Thank you.
Nice. Alrighty, let's just make sure that I have in fact put them all in the right places. Look at that! Nope, not quite. One of them is. Yay, there it is.
Try how to be better, Josh.
No, I just clicked on the wrong one. Brendan, who the absolute heck are you?
I am heckin' Brendan Ellis. Merry Stargate. I'm just vibing. I'm looking forward to uncovering some intergenerational trauma tonight.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's what I love about role-playing games is you really get involved in the fantasy and things that you don't get to do in real life, like resolve your family conflicts.
That's true. Yeah, the resolution is the unusual bit. Karen, who the heck are you?
I will tell you who I am, but first, the excellent aspect of it being the Writers Guild that is on strike in America right now is that the protest signs have been top-notch. The favorite one I saw today was ChatGPT does not have childhood trauma.
That is very true. I
mean, it's giving a lot of children trauma. Karen, who the heck are you?
And may it kill us all. Hello, I am Karen, otherwise known as the Mother of Bunnies. I am a writer, a performer. You can follow me on Twitter, where I retweet bunny pictures and rant about things. Or most recently retweet comedy protest signs. It's a vibe. You can also follow my burlesque alter ego, Miss Lola Moore, over on the Instagram. I'm actually performing on Saturday night in the Nostalgia Box. So if you live in Perth, Western Australia, and you're not doing anything at 8 o'clock on Saturday, you can go watch a burlesque show that I will be in dressed as Austin Powers, because that's sexy. You can also listen to my sultry voice in the D&D podcast, There Be Dragons. Available where all good podcasts can be found, and probably a lot of bad ones as well.
Splendid. And I must say, hello, Crispin Crunch, Chaotic Goblin, Blish of Blood, you splendid individuals. Lorite as well, thank you very much for joining us, all of you. It's lovely to see you all. And mesdames et messieurs, Damen und Herren, and beings of indeterminate gender and persuasion, I be Josh the Pirate. You can find me here on my channel, Corsair's Cove, where I run D&D and other assorted RPGs. On Monday night, Karen and I ran a game of Host, and it was quite upsetting. Though not nearly as upsetting as it was billed as. I was like, okay, this is my level and no more of horror and trauma. But it did feature some horror and trauma, so if you're going to check out the VOD, bear that in mind. By the wonderful Ravens Ridge Press.
You made my dad abusive. I think that was pretty bad.
That was nasty of me. Yeah, I don't think it needs to be played. I was just sort of leaning into the vibe that it was going for. I don't think it needs to be played anywhere near that nastily. But we reckon it would be a really good way to roleplay the relationship between a warlock and their patron. Or someone possessed by a demon. Or, I don't know, somebody with an elemental living in their face, say. Could all be fun. Yeah. The big news that is coming up is that Karen and I, in a couple of weeks, are going to be involved in Jasper's Game Week. the Aussie edition. The seats are being auctioned off currently for seats at the table. Several, if you want to play with professional streamers, professional role players, and you're happy to donate a bit of money to charity to do that, you can! At the link in chat, head on over to jaspersgameday.betterworld.org/auction/Jaspers Game Week Aussie Edition, and you will find all the games up there for auction. I am DMing one on the very final day on Saturday morning. Karen will be playing in one with Matt Briefcase Brown from Split the Party on, I believe, the Tuesday, and I will be playing in one on the Wednesday as well, with the NVCDM, which is very cool. I'm excited about that one because I've never gotten to play with NVCDM before, with him as a DM.
Your spots are sitting at the very reasonable $25 to $30 range, Josh.
Yeah, perfectly reasonable price. I'm also
Shockingly, Robert Hartley has the highest bids right now.
Yes, and AJ's
Shocking.
doing very well as well.
I am shocked.
I'm also playing on, I believe, the Friday afternoon with Kendall Drury, and he's going to be the GM from One for All, with Luna from Le Boffin and Deep 20 as well. If you fancy coming and joining us for any of those, please head on over to the link in chat and bid away. It's going to be a really fun week and all in a really good cause. Karen, can you tell me about the Ukraine, please?
I can. The Ukraine, country in Eastern Europe, you probably heard about it at some point in the last year because they've been having a war.
Yay!
It's a suboptimal situation for a lot of people. So if you would like to support them, we have 2 donation links in chat. The first one is for the Emergency Action Appeal. That is a straight up charity donation. It's a list of Australian charities and not-for-profits that are helping Ukrainian refugees. You can pick which one you would like to donate to and give them some money. The second link is for a product, the Curious Compendium of Slavic Myth, which is a wonderful 38-page D&D booklet, D&D compatible booklet, I should say, that you can purchase for the very reasonable price of £1. All the money going to the British Red Cross Appeal for Ukraine. The booklet is inspired by
Ukrainian folklore.
You got it.
It's inspired by Ukrainian folklore and that part of Europe in general. There's creatures, there's subclasses, there's a gorgeous map, there's a one-shot campaign in there that we have actually played. You can watch it on our YouTube if you want a sneaky little kind of peek before you buy. But really, for £1, which is roughly $2 Australian, it's a freaking bargain, guys. So, if you like to get some bang for your charity buck, rather than just the warm, wholesome feeling of doing some good in the world, you can do that instead.
Splendid. I must also remind our sly, slippery, and possibly even slick audience to please like, follow, and subscribe to all the things, you bloody champions. We have all the exclamation mark socials.
You've been lubricating the channel audience, Josh.
Yes. We have the YouTube, freshly updated with the latest Yusuf video, where Yusuf builds the ultimate level 20 melee combat fighter. It's a pretty upsetting build. 5 levels of Barbarian, 10 levels of Bard, 2 levels of Paladin, and 3 levels of Champion Fighter, all caged in a beautiful half-orc body. This is somebody with 440 hit points when they rage, and the capacity to do 110 average damage on a crit, which they do 1 hit in 5 because they are a champion fighter with reckless attacks. So they'll be critting on a 19 and re-rolling their attacks. So yeah, 1 hit in 5, 1 attack in 5 crits.
The rest of us just lost D&D. For some reason, I feel like we did.
I've tried and I couldn't come up with something that did better. And it also can just soak damage like a motherfucker. It's ridiculous. Very, very tanky thing. And the first time you knock it to 0 hit points, it can just go, nah, I'm good, and just not die. College of Whispers Bard, 2 levels of Paladin for the smites, and so many spell slots that it can't use because it's raging. Hey, Absalom Dak, good to see you, mate. Let me see if I can get the half-elf Gatling gun build. Oh, yeah. And we also have a Discord. If you want to come and hang out with us there. The creative arts section has been popping off this week. There's been some really cool stuff coming up in that. Who was it who put it? It was Ex Cat Darkness's artwork is up in there at the moment, and it's sick. There is something called an anomaly dragon in there, and it's very, very cool. And they sent me the rules, and I'm excited to have you guys fight a dragon that doesn't have a head. That's going to be fun for me.
Cool.
Nice. That's surely not gonna give us any nightmares.
So, interestingly, I encountered a couple of optional rules today, which I would like to include going forward. Heads up, players. The first is the mark rule, which is a free action in melee. When you make a melee attack against a target, you can also mark it as a free action. Then, until the end of your next turn, any opportunity attacks you make against this target are at advantage. And you don't expend your reaction to do it. So you get to keep your reaction if you're making an opportunity attack against that one guy you have marked.
Interesting.
But I'm putting you on heads up because the enemies also get this ability. And so you don't burn your reaction to make that opportunity attack, which doesn't unfortunately mean you can make 2 opportunity attacks in a turn, one using your reaction and one not, but it does allow you to, you can still only make 1, but you still get to keep your reaction for like a spiny shield or something like that, or counterspell, but Benneck's not here anymore.
I, as a swashbuckler rogue, approve of this because I don't trigger opportunity attacks.
Yeah. Fair.
Karen and I look at each other in range.
and spiny shield.
Yeah.
Mind you, Ereq is no slouch in melee at all. This is the trick. I mean, neither of you are slouch in melee, actually. When Ereq gets there, that primal savagery really starts to hurt.
I just can't take much damage, you know.
Yeah. Can dish it out, you just can't soak it up. But that's why we
Nope.
gave you a teleportation amulet. So you can just like, oh, I'm in melee? Nope, no, I'm not. 30 feet backwards, continue
Oh
shooting.
wait, did you think I was over there?
And the second one, which Daria will also probably like, is cleave. Cleave is whenever you take something out, if there's extra damage left over, you can pass it on to the next thing in range. So
That's
if
neat.
you crit and do sort of 30 damage to somebody with 3 hit points left, you can straight up just say, oh, I just keep swinging. The blade passes through and into the next dude. Yeah.
With a
I thought
rapier?
they were potentially.
With a
Yeah.
rapier. You know, they
Okay.
stack like a sandwich and I pierced them through. Like a stack.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a kebab.
I mean, those things, if you get whipped on the side with them, that hurts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's I thought they were both pretty cool. Like, I'm happy to flavor the cleave as like almost as a second, as like you do so well with the first that you can get a second blow in on somebody else, and you don't roll any more dice. You just get to pass that damage on. Where the DM used cleave, and it was a great mechanic for roleplay. Yeah, absolutely, Absalom Dak. Yeah, which is why I was watching a video. I was like, these are good. I hadn't read. They're all in the DM's guide. There's a few others besides that I was like, or just so situational not to be useful. But I think it's good to just preserve some of that damage that you guys get to do. So, now that I've covered that, what the absolute heck happened last time?
Well,
Wow.
a lot. That's the recap. Thanks, everyone. No,
Good.
okay.
Thank you.
I'm going to speedrun it. We discussed our next steps. Kesh law dumped about her jaunt into the plane of death. We found out elections have been called for interim replacements of the missing council members, and one of the candidates is Ereqs' grandmother, Iari Shadowmold. Corvax Revanye turned up unexpectedly to give us advice and confirm Iari's involvement in the bird cult. After 2.5 hours of brainstorming, we agreed to visit the Shadowmolts in Brackenmill after a 60-minute recess. Julio slandered some douchebags, and Benneck was summoned to the avium by Nevermore. We said our goodbyes, then we're teleported by Revanye to Brackenmill.
Nice.
Did I miss anything?
I don't think
Yes.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Oh, yeah, and also some bullshit to do with Julio leveling
Well,
up.
so I do have a question regarding this. Not the level up, though we do need to do that. We need to roll them bones. We need to find out your hit points.
I took an average. Yeah, that's a good idea. I forgot that we do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So who would you like to roll your dice for you? Yeah,
Well,
Bishop
I
Blood.
already know-
Bishop Blood waves the right. So yeah.
Yeah, Bishop Blood sucks at this. So what about Absalom Dak? Have
Sure.
they rolled anything good?
I don't believe so. They are a relatively new watcher, as is I don't believe Crispin Crunch has ever watched a level up.
Let's do the two of them and see if that gets us anything, right?
Alrighty,
Because we
so,
roll twice and choose one, right?
We do. We roll twice and pick the better one. So Absalom Dak and Crispin Crunch, please roll space 8 in chat, because Julio is taking a level in Bard in Bird Pope. No, Tree Pope.
Bird Pope.
Not Bird Pope. Not
Tree
Bird
Pope.
Pope.
Not purple. Tree Pope.
Yeah. The College of the Canopy, a 6 from Crispin Crunch, coming in good with a 6. That's better than the average.
Solid.
Take it,
That
unless
is.
Absalom Dak can do better.
Maybe like
this
an
is a
8.
fun. This is a sort of a fun house rule that I like to have on the channel. It gets the audience involved. The players can either roll it once themselves or choose 2 people in chat and pick the better one. And the one time someone did not avail themselves of this, it was Mitch as Nevermore, and Nevermore was like, "No, I'm an arrogant prick. I'm going to do it myself." Rolls a 1.
Yeah,
And I was
karma.
like, "Yep, perfect." Perfect. So if Absalom Dak is not around, they may have drifted away from their keyboard briefly. You can pick someone else, Daria. Imagine
well,
the Lorite is around.
lovely Lorite gave me an inspiration.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, let's have the Lorite.
It
do
is
then.
only right. yeah.
Donna, if you are around, please a D8 in chat, and we'll get Absalom Dak to roll something else later.
6 is already better than what I have
6
by
is
1.
pretty
so that's
good. Another 6 from the Lorite. All right, looks like it's a 6. Nice, guys.
Yeah, I feel like you
can
gotta
have
go with a
either
6.
one, Daria.
Wow, that's a tough choice.
I know,
I
right?
think I'm gonna go with a 6.
Okay, all right. But whose? No, I'm not going to make you pick. So that's that one. Thank you very much.
Can I get both and get 12?
No. Bishop
Okay.
Blood rolled a 4, so there you go. That's Bishop Blood demonstrating.
Classic.
Cool. There was a couple of other bits and pieces, but before I do that, I just wanted to say, yeah, absolutely. Mateys, may your grandparents be alive, well, and not in a bird cult, and all of your interactions with deities involve presence of clothing, as we head tremulously at first, and then with mounting heat and passion into the Humblewood. So, I would first like to retcon a couple of things, because before you guys blamped out of there, I believe Eric and Kesh were going to have a quick chatlet. But they could do it once they get where they're going. There's no particular reason to retcon it. I'm just curious. And I'm seeing as we haven't really progressed the narrative, you guys could have that chat now or do it later. The other thing I had to ask was, Julio, I was kind of thrown for a bit of a. I wasn't sure where you were going with the whole flyers thing when you were doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I love the idea, but I did not ask. What was the intent? Were you expecting them to distribute the flyers, or are you going to do that later?
Yes.
Okay,
No,
so
I pay them an exorbitant amount to distribute it all across the city.
right. So therein lies the trick, because you are asking them. Printing isn't something they're doing. They are handwriting of these. Printing doesn't exist in the wood. So they are handwriting. About 1,000 is what you get for 200 gold. These things. So they are intimately aware of what it says. And it's saying things that are like, they don't know if it's true, but a Jabin comes in to their place of work and says, and basically The lady who is manning the front counter is a raptor. And she, when you go up to her, like, we're gonna roleplay this. When you go up to her, she says, "Yes, what is it you want?"
Well, I have a plan for these two little designs. Here you go.
Yes.
So I need as many as my money can buy me. Here you go. Distributed across the city.
You are wanting us to print and distribute, yeah?
Yes.
You are an operative of the council?
No.
So, this is accurate?
No. Okay, listen, I'll level with you.
She's a
There
raptor.
is. Yes, I know, but I'm banking on the good in the people because I'm.
Well, the
people.
money is what you're...
And the money, yes. As I push the money a bit closer to her, I say, perhaps you seem like a very perceptive person to me. Perhaps you have noticed that the city is undergoing many changes right now. Not all for the better. Perhaps you've seen weird graffiti around, people leaving the city in big groups.
I've seen this.
Yeah, so I don't want to alarm you, and please don't tell anyone that I said that, but I work for a secret organization that, upholds the safety of the Alderheart. And the thing is, we know that somewhere in the government there is a person who works against the Alderheart, and this is all a part of the plan to weed that person out.
That was not as stupid as I expected it to be. Okay.
I'm banking on persuasion because my deception is super bad.
Valid. Make me a persuasion check, please.
It's not 100% bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm like hoping for a persuasion roll.
And did you
Okay.
get better at persuasion on your level up?
Yes, I did.
So just remember not to include that because you haven't leveled up
I
yet.
don't remember how much I had before this.
Would you be? It would be your expertise, so it would be a +3 to it. So take off 3 to whatever you roll.
Okay. Okay, I'll roll one and see if that's good enough, and then I'll try again. Can I guidance myself? I don't have guidance. Oh, I definitely want to reroll that. I'm gonna use my inspiration straight out of the bat, like
Yeah.
right now.
A 10 would not be enough to convince her. No.
Yeah.
Go
yeah,
on
no,
then.
Yeah. Please. Okay. 21.
21. 21. All right.
Julio Super Spy.
The woman whisks the money off the desk, looks in the bag. We can, of course, help you with this. Of course. For the good of the Alderheart, anything is possible. Thank you very much, concerned citizen.
Okay. Can I insight her?
You may.
I'm just. She switched up so fast, I'm not sure. 13 on insight.
She is, she's full of shit. Like, she
Yeah.
doesn't believe you for a minute in terms of, like, no, you were very convincing. She clearly believes that you believe what you are saying.
Okay.
She may not necessarily agree with your politics, but she's happy to take your money and do the thing.
Okay. That's enough for me. That's enough for me. I'm already like at a disadvantage because she's a bird folk. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna take what I can get. So I'll heartily like say thank you, like, shake her hand, and get the hell out of there.
Okay. Cool. Right. Yes, that will happen over the next... It'll take about a day and a half, 2 days to happen. But yeah, that will happen. They will be distributed in lots. And then you went down to the roots and distributed alms to the poor, saying, Cash Glitterweave loves you all and maybe you should love her back.
Yeah, I don't say the second part, but I'm just like trying to like seed like goodwill for Cash and also to support humble folk because we don't know what's gonna happen in the next 2 days.
No, you do not. Yeah, cool. Awesome. Karen and Brendan, do you want to have that conversation, or do you want to just blamf and do it en route?
Hey, Cash. Now that, I don't know, everyone's gone, they're all doing something important probably. But I do make sure that we're somewhere relatively quiet and solo. You did a great job of organizing that planning, and now we have a plan going forward. You seemed very confident that we could make something happen of all this. How are you?
I'm okay. It's a lot, but I'm feeling more positive about it.
So you weren't lying when you believed that we can make a difference in things?
No, I wasn't lying. Look, I don't think it'll be easy, and it probably won't go exactly how we want it to go. But yes, I believe we can make a real difference. Maybe even make this outcome one that might be considered positive, which would be good. I think we stand to come off far worse if we do nothing, to be honest.
Well, neither of us were ever people to stand by and do nothing, were we?
Well, yes, that is the thing, really, isn't it?
We couldn't if we tried.
No. Because for a moment there, I thought maybe the best thing is to do nothing. But then the more I thought about it, the more that seemed like a complete cop-out. So I think we should try and do something. And then even if it doesn't work out exactly how we want it to, we will have tried.
Yes.
And so if we ever have to, stand up before the world and justify how we handled this situation, we can at least say, well, we tried really hard.
Okay. So, we try.
Yes, we try. Which doesn't sound very confident now I think about it longer, does it?
I think it's reasonable.
Well, I think I'm as confident as I can be given the gravity of the situation. If that makes sense.
I'm right behind you, Chief.
So if our next adventure could not involve trying to deal with celestial forces, that would be a refreshing change, really.
Yes, I can see you're optimistic when you say our next adventure.
Yes, because there will be one after this. This will
Remember when we used to just go to another part of the Humblewood and fight a fire elemental?
Ah, the simple days.
Those were good times.
Yeah.
That one time we fought a pirate.
Yeah. And they got
2 months ago.
2 months ago.
That one time.
Practically a lifetime and multiple party members ago.
Yes.
Yes.
And look, if we ever find ourselves on the ocean, there may be a massive wake worm who owes us a favor.
Look, I feel like that will definitely come in handy at some point. I don't know how, but I feel very confident about that. And if we do pull this off, I think we have bragging rights for at least the next 20 years. We will be drinking for free until we're middle-aged.
Do you really think that if we succeed in whatever we're going to do, that people will actually know that we succeeded?
I imagine it'll happen the way it normally happens, where somebody else ends up taking all the credit and then thanks us very politely behind the scenes, and we smile and pretend we're okay with
Yes. We're no defenders.
it. Look,
I'm okay with that.
that's fine. You know, they get mobbed in public and stuff.
Yes.
You know, we have the possibility of having drinks in peace.
That's true. Although our party composition is very similar, almost identical to their party composition, so that could get an awkward case of mistaken identity.
Is it bad that I was like, oh, if we accidentally get mistaken for the heroes of Alderheart and we get some free drinks out of it, that's fine. I could pretend to be Trish. I can do a great Trish impersonation.
Oh, yes.
And Julio would love dressing up as Jude.
Yep.
I think I could do a pretty good impersonation of Nevermore.
Yeah. We just put some charcoal powder on that red feather. Just look down your beak at everybody, and you're halfway there.
My feathers have grown back in. I would have almost no burnt patches now.
Have to do something about that.
We should update the character art.
Well, Daria, while you're at it,
Wow. Okay.
I was going
just
to ask
going to say we just accidentally throw Eric into a pit of tar, but you know.
What?
If we're updating your art, does Eric want a red tomahawk of feathers? Just ask him.
Just asking. It's not like I've asked Daria to update the other two, so
Just punk style now.
Yeah.
yeah, he's
like
in his
that.
rebel
Yeah,
phase.
Eric is a punk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rebel.
Can you put red eyeliner underneath
Yes.
the eyes?
Can I put eyeliner?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Some tar mascara. Some tascara.
Oh, yes.
Mascara.
Running down because he's emo.
Yeah.
Mhm. It's not a phase, Mom.
Every time he comes out, Welcome to the Black Parade starts playing.
Yeah.
The feathers are just slicked back.
I got very different. That
One
was for
side
Mickey.
slicked back, and then the other side's like combed forward over one eye.
That, yeah. Not grease.
Yes, they call me Tender Eric.
Do they?
Male birds, am I right? Yeah. Okay.
This went to a weird place.
Was this is this all you wanted to say? Please let it be.
What do you
all wanted
mean?
to
This
say.
was a pivotal character moment.
Yeah. I'm glad you did it.
Yes, I'm done.
You both level up.
Oh.
No.
Really?
No.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
I was like, for that?
No,
Damn
you
it.
need a better milestone than that.
Damn it!
That's a shame because I'm really looking forward to my my warlock pact of the tar pit.
Yes. You are at the same time the patron and the warlock. It's wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am my own patron.
That's literally Helvig's thing.
Yeah. I was gonna say that sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's literally what Helvig
That's
is.
cool.
Pact of the Self. Yeah. Cool.
I, Eric, take myself, Eric, to be my patron.
I'm so pretty. Eric, you make me so happy. Why, thank you, Eric. Cool. That's that then. Excellent. So, well, I suppose you then disappear off. You blamf off to Brackenmill. So, Corvax Revanye places his claws on Ereq and Cash's shoulders, indicating that Julio should hold hands with one of them. Then, as he obeys, Revanye's eyes flash golden, and you feel a tugging sensation at the base of your stomach, pulling you southeast, and the world bends around you, losing focus and blurring in the manner of a landscape moving too fast. As the swirling ends, you are standing in the shade of a cluster of huge trees. Not all the hut big, but still sizable, and probably has a similar size canopy to Older Heart, but it's much more low to the ground. Mooncloud's 4-year-old is still asleep at 7 a.m. Wow, the universe does smile upon you today, Mooncloud. Good to see you, mate. The trees are as big as houses at the base. They are thick boys. Think redwood-sized trees, but nowhere near as tall. So sort of, yeah, thick is a good word. Their branches weaving together into essentially a second floor for the entire town. So the town itself is sort of on the ground floor, and then the canopy above, the branches are where the farming is done. Brackenmill is mostly a farming town, farming fruits and herbs, all in the branches of the trees. Corralled on the ground are many herd beasts, most notably the caterpillars, which produce Brackenmill's most famous product, silk. These docile and tame creatures are allowed, in the manner of Hindus with cows, to just for the most part, roam free around the town in the lower areas of the perch. Many of the homes are on the ground, with the branches being used for growing things. So here, even bird folk live on the ground. It's just too useful. The growing space above is too useful to sacrifice any of it for housing. The closer you can get to the sun, the better the plants will grow. This is one of the oldest settlements in the wood, and it's a lot of the families who live here go back to the founding of the Humblewood as a nation. In the distance is Ereq Knows, the entrance to the family estate. It's a little outside of the main town. It's about half a mile out of the town proper. So within sight of the branches, but definitely separate from it. It is about 3 p.m. What do you do? There is a few notable buildings. You can see there's a large one near the center of the town, which rejoices in the name the Sunny Silkworm Inn. Which is it's got a really pleasant sort of beer garden. It's very shady. The whole place is, not dim, but it's
Shady.
It's bright outside, and then you're under shade. So it's bright, but you are in shade, which is nice. And they're a little dappled. The entire place is dappled. That's the word I was looking for. Dappled with sunlight. It's a very pleasant afternoon. There is the breeze through the trees is cooling, and there are caterpillars the size of cart horses, pretty much just not everywhere. It's not teeming with them, but anywhere in the place you can spot 2 or 3 from where you're standing.
DM, do I have an idea, at least from the last time I was living here, of the humble folk to bird folk population?
About 50-50. Maybe a little bit tending toward the bird folk. Maybe 55-45 sort of, but not a marked differential. Because people live on the ground so much, it means it actually dissuades bird folk. They prefer to live in the trees, whereas humble folk favor ground living. The style of homes does tend to be different, though. A lot of humble folk, here at least, favor semi-subterranean houses. So, a lot of them are burrows and the like. And whereas bird folk it'll be within the bark of a tree. But the trees have been grown to be the houses, sort of cultivated so that you live within a hole in the side of the tree. But yeah, in terms of population differential, probably not a marked. You're walking around. Everyone it's a well-off town. People are well-dressed. No one is thin. You don't see beggars or anything. In fact, it's noteworthy you do not see any beggars. Hello, SD. Good to see you. And I'm glad you're joining us early so you get to see the story today. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Yeah. Wandering around Brackenmill, everyone is well dressed. Everybody, it's not fancy, though there would be more silk clothing than you would normally see on common folk. But silk can be made to be quite a hardy substance. Like the Japanese put it over their armor. Like it can be quite strong stuff. And so it's a well-off town. It's a well-fed town. It has thus far escaped the ravages that have affected the rest of the wood. It is on the other side of Alderheart than all the fire elemental stuff was all going on in the northwest. This is the southeast. It is about a day and a half south of the Avium and about 2.5 days south of Alderheart. Or southeast, rather, of Alderheart. About a day and a half north of Saltar's Point as well, for a rough general idea of where you are. The mountains are visible but not close to the east and north.
Okay.
And it's busy but not like crowded.
Kesh will kind of look to you, Eric, as kind of a... Not my town.
Yeah.
Which way?
If you want to get a lay of the land before you go, you would know that Eric, you would know the proprietor of the Sunny Silkworm Inn last time you were here, was a hedge.
Yeah.
Also, can I ask a question? What's like the overall vibe and percentage of birdfolk versus humblefolk? Like, do we get the same oppressed feeling of the Alderheart, or are things chill around here?
That's sort of what I was meaning. This place has been sort of insulated from all the bad shit. What you do notice, actually, is there are a few guards. You don't normally see birdfolk deploy, like the perch guard deployed outside the Alderheart. There are some here. Armored birdfolk with halberds. You see, it's not a heavy presence, but it would be surprising to see. Eric, they did not maintain even a guardhouse here. The local law enforcement was overseen by House Shadow Malt retainers, guards, which you also can see. They are still in evidence, but they're a perch guard here now. You can make me perception checks, actually, if you like.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Were the perch guard here for the wedding?
No. Mind you, you didn't come here. Well, you would have gone through, but yeah, you would not have noticed them at the wedding. Julio gets a 7.
25.
Eric, a 25. Eric, there is a poster on like a community notice board. Again, it's your town. It's not surprising you'd spot it to know to look for it. That is calling for...
I would say I'm probably pretty highly alert at the moment too.
Yes. Your arrival was... Revanye did a good job. He plonked you in a place that wasn't super noteworthy. Like, he didn't put you right in the middle of the town square and everyone's like, 3 people just teleported in. That's not... but it's a bit unusual. That's weird. No, you came in a side alley. I imagine your hoods went up, sort of. You're a bit incognitus. Girl Wonder, thank you very much for the follow, you bloody champion. Avast, matey, you wee scallywag. That is 650, boys and girls.
Ooh.
Yo.
Nice.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you very much, Girl Wonder. Congratulations on the 650th. I tell you what, seeing as we don't do 50s anymore, Daria, you can have an inspiration.
Thank you.
Everybody else has already got one, so I'll give a freebie for Daria. What was I saying? What was I answering?
You're just talking about the poster.
That's right. The poster is putting out a call for recruiting new members of the Perch Guard. They are actively. They don't. It's normally they rely on trickle-ins. It's a career normally. It is I'm going to take a job in the army. It's a really solid career, particularly for a bird folk, but they do recruit humble folk as well to the Perch Guard. It does not say specifically no humble folk need apply, but well, there is no but. It does not say that, but given
It's called the Perch Guard.
It's called the Perch Guard, yeah.
Yeah.
It does not say, however, specifically that people shouldn't. However, every armed soldier here has feathers.
Yeah.
Is one of them a hedge wearing a
that's
cape
new.
of feathers?
I hate the idea of that.
Quite upsetting.
The skin of a bird folk is just stuck onto their spines.
That'd be from the last person who crossed them.
Yeah.
So it's like a toupee, but for your entire body. That's
Yeah.
how I feel about it.
Yeah.
Stop with the toupees.
Skin suit.
I will not
Body
stop with the
toupee.
toupees. That's my thing. That's my trend.
Okay, good.
Says the person now wearing a cloak of leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to make a subtle gesture to some Perch Guard and just say low. That's new, and notably, there wasn't a presence at the wedding, if you remember, Cash.
No.
Highest wedding.
There would have been 4 guards total in evidence at the wedding.
Wedding was quite low key, which is interesting given someone got kidnapped.
Well, that was a month ago, and then someone got kidnapped.
Yeah. Do you think it's because of the kidnapping or because of other stuff?
Possibly, it's, you know what? It's probably been used as an excuse.
You
That is-
can make an insight check as well. I would say Eric and Kesh. Julio is probably still a little bit in his head about the whole conversation with the tree
Yes.
he literally just had.
And also he's nodding, not trying to show that the repeated reminder of the wedding is anything he's bothered by.
Yeah.
Wow, a 22 and a
Are we
24.
going to have to find another wedding to go to make Julio feel better
Yes.
about this?
Yes.
Is this the only way this ends?
I think the only way he
Yes.
can truly recover is marrying the tree.
Good
Yo.
ideas.
So, a 22 and a 24 are both more than sufficient. Kesh, you and Eric both notice, now that you're looking for it, the occasional side-eye from humble folk on the ground. It is extremely subtle. There is no overriding sense of tension yet. It's more like every now and again you just spot somebody who is just looking over their shoulder more than they need to. Like if you're not feeling threatened, you don't look over your shoulder unless you're going to cross the road or something. You just don't. There's no need. But yeah, the humble folk have their wits about them, let us say, here. And Eric, as you guys are walking up the street, with your perception, you notice a Vulpin man. He's quite clearly a Vulpin. There's no hiding that particular build and shape. He ain't a Mapatch. And he is walking in a somewhat distracted way. But with your 22, you can determine this guy is pretending to be distracted. And he walks straight into he's walks and sort of shoulders Cash, and turns and is like, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, hello.
Hi. How are
It's
you?
it's Mark.
Lord Mark?
Hi. Yeah. Good to see you. Long time no see. Wow. Fancy seeing you here. Hey.
Yeah.
Look, I've got to get on. But after the last time I saw you, I did a bit of thinking, and I've got a gift for you. My smithy is just over there. Come by later. I'll give you the present. The wife and the kids would love to meet you. They've heard so many stories.
Oh. Sure. We could try and pop round. No worries.
That would be great. That would be great. We'd love
glad to see you all right.
Yeah.
Insight check.
Yeah, I'm like,
I was about to say.
all the freaking insight. What the fuck is going on with this guy?
Mark, what's up?
He sort of does a half nod and he walks away. He is he was wearing the garb of a common smith, thick leather apron over sort of well made but common clothes. I was just going to let you have the insights from before, sort of let that carry over. Yeah, this
sure.
was clearly an engineered meeting.
Does it feel like it has malicious intent?
No, not at all. He just wants to
Mark?
talk to
He
you
would
in
never.
private.
Okay.
Oh, okay. That is less
Yeah, it
concerning
definitely
then.
seemed like an ambush.
Yeah.
Definitely like,
come on in.
oh,
The
you
wife
should
is
come round
waiting."
later after I've let the perch guard know that I found you and there's a reward.
So,
Not
you
those
saw
vibes.
Mark last. I worked this out 4 days ago.
Yeah.
It would have taken him at least 3 days to get here on foot. And he, as far as you knew, his intention was to gather up his family and go to the crest almost immediately.
Oh. Interesting.
He has some info. Pretty sure.
Something's
And the
going
last time
on.
you saw him, you asked him specifically about Brackenmill. What was going on here? Yeah.
Yeah.
Goddamn Corvax.
Can you remind us, like, I don't remember him saying that things were terrible, but it was just kind of like a bad vibe? Is that
Yeah.
right?
That was pretty much it. There was more soldiers around, he noted.
Yeah. Okay.
Just not an inaccurate assessment of the situation. There are more soldiers around.
Yeah, more than the
Just-
none
Sure.
there were.
Yeah. All the hmms.
Yeah.
Marks that make you go,
Listen, trust me, I'm really not in a rush to see my family, but Corvax Revanye did indicate that my grandmother would be leaving imminently for the Older Heart. It's a 2-day journey, and he expected her to arrive there in 2 days. So,
she's probably about to bail.
yes.
Okay.
Although it might be worth dropping by the Sunny Silkworm first so that we can kind of establish ourselves, our base of operations.
She wouldn't be leaving at this point in the afternoon. If you're going to go on a long journey, you don't leave at 3 in the afternoon if you're going to drive on a 2-day drive.
Yeah, okay. She will probably be wanting to leave early tomorrow morning.
right.
Say, Mark, it looked like he was quite, he had some pertinent information. So maybe that's going to be something before we talk to her, just to prepare.
Yes.
Well, let's see what your friend has to say first, and then we can decide whether we want to go see Mark or go see Granny.
I might keep a low profile while I'm around here.
Sure.
So,
I kind of assumed you were going to do that.
Yeah. So
Do you have
I will
disguise
try
self?
to speak as little as possible. I do not.
Hmm.
I mean, I can turn into a little spider, but
I can give you some makeup. Make you into a raptor.
thank you so much for the offer. But I don't feel that we have the time. So maybe if we hop back in this alley and I can just turn into a little creature.
Okay. It just seems to me that you're not trusting my abilities. That's all.
No, I do. I'm just look at me. I'm a chunky little boy. I'm not much of a raptor build.
No, he is comfortably a foot taller than any raptor you've ever seen. Like, raptors are not big.
Raptor that had a
think you should
nasty
be-
accident.
I think you should be more generous to your body. It's doing a lot for you. Don't body shame yourself. You're looking good, Eric.
So you're saying that me, as a person who can shape change almost at will, I should have more pride in my natural body.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay. Forget that class feature then.
Yeah.
To the bin with it.
Won't do that thing that druids are famous for doing ever again.
No, you've got to believe in yourself and dead.
Can you do alter self?
I don't know if I can. I have another character that can, but I don't know if this one can. But it really doesn't matter.
I feel like druids have alter self. Because that way you can look like a slightly different version of you and then no one would know. It's whether or not you have it prepared, I think.
Yeah, I definitely don't have it prepared. But
Yeah.
I'm not terribly worried about it for
That's
now.
cool. It's going to be a spider.
Yeah, I'm going to be a spider.
Cash is so used to bugs, she loves bugs on her shoulders.
Yeah.
Actually,
yeah.
I feel like there's not a lot of real estate there. I don't want to tread on anyone's territory. Julio,
I'm not
how do you
currently
feel
covered
about
in
me?
bugs.
I know, but maybe they'll get my scent.
Be like, you've been sleeping with other bugs, you whore.
Didn't realize we were in an
Okay.
exclusive relationship. I'm sorry.
With the hundreds of insects that sleep on you on a nightly basis. It's not one giant bug.
Okay, Eric, I shall carry you in my palm as the most precious little bug.
You don't think that's a bit conspicuous?
No, I will
Just
go
wandering
everywhere
around.
like this.
Look, bug Eric.
Hey,
Okay.
who is
Put you on the
currently a
shoulder. That
bug?
I'm joking.
Yeah.
Okay. I turn into. Oh, before I do, I'm not going to be able to talk. So, any questions?
Oh, who do we need to ask for at the Silkworm?
Well-
the character's name is Dog McCall.
Dog
Okay.
McCall.
It is a
Is it a
board
dog?
NPC
They
name.
are.
Hedge.
They are a hedge. Yeah, yes. I said that before.
Yeah. I believe it was Laurite who redeemed that one.
I think that was
Dog
last
McCall.
Thursday, yeah.
McCall. DOUWG.
Dog McCall the Hedge. Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you need us to do, Eric, while you're a spider?
If he turned into a scarab, he would look a little bit like a shoulder parrot.
Ooh.
For the pirate.
Yeah.
I was just thinking you could tap in Morse code.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eric
Okay.
on a cracker.
Look, I think maybe we should get some rooms for the night, so that whatever we decide to do later tonight, we have somewhere to fall back on if we need it. Yeah, get a vibe of the town. Yeah. Oh, look, Kesh, I know that you probably know this already, but I'll point it out anyway. And I point at the estate.
Oh, yes, yes.
You've been there
It may be worth. Well, let's talk about this now. Actually, how do we feel? I really don't know what we might find, but how do we feel about doing a little sneaky visit of my family's estate before we actually make ourselves known.
Well, that
Well-
depends. Are they like magically good and protected?
There's probably some warding.
Grandmother is probably the most gifted magically, and if she wouldn't be capable of it herself, then it certainly would be within her wheelhouse to hire someone to ward. So it would be something for us to keep in mind. And I mean, you know, we've seen at least 2 shrines, but that have been magically 3, in fact, that have been magically enchanted or cursed. So at minimum, I would expect something like that.
Eric, you do know that the family property is warded against. It's not a particularly powerful ward. It's more of an alarm system for intruders, like to like non-authorized personnel entering from a like if you're going through the front gate, doesn't go off.
Yeah.
And if you're a member of the family, it won't go off anyway.
Yeah.
There is but it's not an overly complicated spell, you know. And
Listen,
you might be able to pull it off given that they are with you. Like, the alarm might not go off because you're there.
do I know? You said it's fairly simple, so
It's cast on
Would
the
it-
wall that encircles
would
the
it
property.
would it detect me if I was a bug?
No.
Do I know?
Well, it would detect you, but it would identify you as Eric Shadowmold and therefore not a threat or a problem.
Okay,
So it wouldn't go off.
Eric can
Yeah.
sneak in completely undetected.
Yes.
If Julio, say, used their super bounce ability and just pinged over the wall, would that set the alarm off?
Sure.
It probably extends a bit above it,
Yeah.
but
Eric-
you would be able to get to the other side of it if you could see there.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Eric,
It wouldn't pick me up if I blamped. Interesting.
to what end are we sneaking before we talk to them? Because sneaking is one thing. If you just want to scout what is happening inside and vibe check, that can be done without sneaking. They don't know me at all. They haven't met me once because I wasn't invited to the wedding, but that's neither here nor there.
What? Oh, I forgot.
You weren't invited to the wedding?
Oh, that's
Yeah,
terrible.
focus up, guys. Yes.
No. Julio
Well,
stayed
do
with
you want to
Arthur and lost him, remember?
Oh, yeah.
We don't talk about that.
You want to talk about what you weren't doing at the wedding? I didn't think so.
Yeah, remember how that ended up?
Look, if Cash had gone with Arthur and Julio had gone to the wedding, it might have all turned out differently. Just saying.
I mean,
Wow.
Eric wanted Arthur to go to the wedding, but you know.
Yeah, that's true. Or a different wedding.
So
Well,
yeah, the
that's it.
question is, what exactly do you want us to scout for?
Are we perhaps seeing if there have been any undue influences lurking around the old grandmama, perhaps?
Well, to be perfectly frank, I expect my grandmother to be the undue influence.
Ah, I see.
There wasn't anything specific. I just felt like if there was anything of interest to see over here, we would have a much better chance of doing that before they were aware of our presence.
Look,
But I could
forewarned
go
is
either way.
forearmed and all that.
Yes. I mean, we do have a few different ways of going about it. We don't need to. We can just think about it right now.
Can you turn into a flying bug, Eric? Like a
That-
butterfly or a dragonfly or a fly?
Let
yes.
me look at my class features.
Yes, you can. You're 8 levels in Druid. You just got the ability to turn into flying animals.
Oh, fuck yes, I can.
Because honestly, the easiest way to suss it out would for you to just, turn into something with wings and go for a little saunter.
Yes.
Turn into something large enough with wings, the others could hop on.
That might be a little bit more conspicuous. This giant,
I'm also
winged-
pretty sure I'll
thought
be
we were going for subtle
gigantic
here,
fly.
not, sorry, what am I again? I'm a patch.
What am I?
What am I?
You're just having an existential crisis.
Yeah, just a small one. Yeah, it might be less subtle if there's a map to Jerpine riding it. Although,
I mean,
kind of
yes.
funny. Very memorable.
yes. When we need to flee from danger in a hurry, I might try it, but for subtlety's sake, maybe not. But I mean, that's not a bad idea. I could go myself. In fact, I could go now while the two of you are scoping out the village if you wanted.
Well, it's more that we would have you in case we're not asking the right questions. And then
Yes.
you can poke one of us with your little spidey leg when we need to lean into
Roger more.
something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, we know that there is some kind of cult facility here. No?
Not really.
Didn't I thought we
You have convinced
didn't we hear
yourselves
that
of
there
this.
was- Oh, okay.
I've watched back and I cannot find exactly where it was that you convinced yourselves that there was an indoctrination facility in Brackenmill. There isn't. It's really just there is a nexus of cult worship and activity here because Yari Shadowmalt lives here. That's the primary reason. It's not.
Yeah.
I
mind
don't
then.
remember where it came from, and I was just like, I love that you guys have convinced yourselves that this is the case.
Look, we took the pieces and we put them together and made a very weird puzzle that doesn't make sense, but we're leaning in. So
Yeah.
we know they're not brainwashing anyone. We got that far.
Yes.
If there is a facility, it's probably
at
at your family's house. Like they have a chapel or whatever, probably there.
Yeah, no, I think that I got that idea when we were at the prison. But,
Yeah.
yeah, no, that's fine. Well, scratch that. Okay, I can't think of anything else then.
Well, we could go to see
Mark?
Dog McCall, and then us two can go see Mark, and you can sneakily fly off to see what's going on at your family estate, and then we'll just meet down the road from your parents and
Yeah.
exchange
Well,
notes.
I would like to go to Mark to see what he has to say as well.
Well, then let us not split the party.
No, that's not.
Nice.
Okay.
All right, spider
you-
thyself, Eric.
No, look at this. I am going to turn into a flying beetle.
Nice.
And when the wings are out, the body is red, like the soft bit. And I'm going to fly and land on Julio's shoulder.
Oh. All right. I am going to saunter. Excuse me. I am going to saunter casually down the streets of Brackenmill towards the sunny silkworm, like I haven't a care in the world, and I'm of no interest or note to anybody.
This is going to provoke a performance check. You know it is.
I knew I shouldn't have described it so dramatically.
It's not so much.
This is not my strong suit.
There
okay?
isn't so much very much writing on it. 15. There you go.
15,
A
though.
flat 15. There you go. Yeah, cool. Julio effortlessly matches your vibe with their +9 or whatever. But yeah, Kesh, you wander down the road not looking like you really give a shit about anything. Like it's a cool day. You've got your spiky fang bow on your back and everything's groovy and nice. Are you trying to be incognito at all? Like, Kesh
When you-
Glitterweave isn't necessarily a famous person, but She's known in all the boroughs, you know, like...
I am not trying to look like myself, I suppose.
Okay. So, hood up,
Yeah.
strolling casually, like... I don't know, fly casual.
Yes.
Yeah, that sort of... So not walking down the center of the road, like, hood up, walking casually, but not... Yeah, in a way to not draw attention.
Yeah. And like my hood up in a way that says, I just like wearing it with the hood up.
Sure.
Not,
And Julio...
don't look at my face, you might recognize me.
Yeah. Julio is by far the more sort of eye-drawing of the two of you anyway. The suave-looking Jabin with a beetle on his shoulder.
A beetle, a flower mantle,
Yeah.
one eye covered, toupee. I'm the fashionista of the group.
You are
clearly.
everything to me. Yeah, it's great.
No one's looking at Kesh with this, smoke
Yeah.
show happening next to me.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Aragorn, the Ranger of the North, sort of skulking along beside, like, no one pay attention, no one pay attention. Yeah, cool. You go
Then
into
Legolas on his frickin' white horse with his hair rippling in the
Yeah.
sunlight.
What
Yeah.
do your beetle legs feel? You go into the Sunny Silkworm. A very slender hedge with red, like a ginger, red quills. Is behind the bar, sort of, using a rag to wipe down the bar. The common room of the inn and tavern teems with activity. Many birdfolk and humblefolk of all descriptions are engaged in talk, drink, and games. 3 large hearths frame the space, one to the right, another stone chimney which rises up the center of the common room, and one behind the bar counter at the back of the common room, over which pots of stew bubble away aromatically. The place is warm and inviting. Through a window, a silkworm sticks its head, and a small Mapatch child is feeding it her salad that she doesn't want.
As all should do when faced with food they don't want to eat and animals that want to eat it.
Yeah, the silkworm takes it in its front like 6 little, and it's giant mandibles are just chewing away. It's having a great time, and the child giggles delightedly.
Cool. This ginger hedge, what are they doing?
They are sort of they're rubbing down the bar. So they've got this rag that they use for literally everything, and just it goes back on their quills and gets impaled on a half dozen, like just flicks it onto his shoulder, and it just stays there whenever he's not using it. And those quills are noteworthily browner than the others because this is just the rag that he uses for everything.
That's very unhygienic.
Extremely so, yes. He probably steams it once a week or something, keep it fresh. It's almost rigid, like... I kid, it's not.
I almost feel like he brings it to the toilet with him.
Oh, I'm just flashing back to my hospitality days and some of the shit you see going on in hospo. You're just like, it's amazing we're not all dead.
Yeah. You can credit the hospitality workers for keeping everybody's immune system strong. So, yeah, you head in. Yes, a war hero, a traveling sage, and a dark lord walk into a bar. Is Julio the traveling sage, I assume?
I suppose so.
Yeah, cool.
I'm
Got
wisdom.
my outfit.
Only one of
You
you's
have been
fought in a
giving
war.
a lot
so-
of good advice recently.
That's true.
Yes.
All right.
Cool. I'm gonna go up to the bar. Again, I'm just acting super casual, like I'm not here to find anyone. I'm just
Super
here for a
cash.
drink and maybe a little bit of stew.
Valid. Hello. Says
That's
the
the
hedge.
voice we're going with?
Yep,
Okay.
that's the Dog McCall of the Clan McCall.
Brace
I have
yourself,
spoken.
Oh, good. Is it afternoon? It's afternoon, right?
It is. Aye, lass. About 3:30.
Oh, well, good afternoon then. Could I possibly have some apple cider if you have any?
Cider, certainly.
Anything for you, William?
Milk.
And a milk, please.
Aye, coming right up. He sort of like, and goes to like not anticipating milk for the traveling sage. And then a thing for the and then a thing for the beetle. The beetle goes. And a Phillips head
Did I just miss?
slammed down on a screwdriver.
Just dunk the beetle in.
Tell me who you work for.
The beetle is just staggering around on the bench top afterwards. Vodka goes
Maybe just
straight
a-
to his thorax.
Just a little shot glass of orange and vodka, if you do that.
Yeah. Nevermore, you're oozing tar. Trish, you're so eloquent. At least Jude hasn't changed.
Nice.
Hey, Omi.
Keeping our Gervain characteristics consistent across.
Yeah, Helvig sounds a bit different now. Yeah.
Helvig's vanished, though. Very odd. Cool. I'll wait for him to come back with our drinks.
Hey, he slams down a pint of apple cider on the table on the bar in front of you in a tankard of carved wood, and a smaller tankard of pewter full of milk. He charges you a nominal amount of coin, like 3 coppers or whatever. Said, anything else? You say something about stew.
Oh, well, you hungry? Do you want a snack? And that's
It's
probably
probably not ready yet. It's a little young. You know, it takes a while to boil down. You know, it hasn't thickened up.
Oh, well,
It's
we
still a bit
wouldn't want it.
soup-like.
Well, we don't want to have it before it's peaked. You know, you got to wait for stew to hit that sweet spot.
Aye. I'll add the dumplings around 5 if you want to wait.
Oh, now you're talking my language. Quick question, actually.
Aye,
You wouldn't happen to be Dog McCall by any chance, would you?
I am he.
Ah, I've heard so much about you from a friend of mine. He said I should ask for you. Said you were one of the best barkeeps in town.
Well, I'm the only barkeep in town, so it's not a particularly high bar to cover, but I do cover it quite well, although I do say so myself. Very kind of your friend to say. Who was your friend? Do I know him?
Eric.
Oh, I'm surprised I have reached so high in the estimation of a shadow mort.
Oh, he doesn't go by Shadow Malt anymore.
Aye, is that true?
He had
Then
like
the
a
lad
married.
might not, then, and he leans in, then the lad might not want to show his face around here anymore.
Oh, I think he has every plan of being discreet about the matter. But, you know, since you're a friend of his, I figured I could say it. But yeah, he kind of had like a spiritual awakening of sorts and thought he should commemorate the occasion by changing his name to something more appropriate.
Spiritual awakening, you say? Now, he,
Am I laying this on too thick here?
no, he says, bread for you, I think. I'll be back in a moment. Marjorie, mind the store, would you? And, a young girl sort of comes out from the back area, like the curtain, and out she comes. Yeah, Pa. And she, you're right, loves.
Oh, we're good. We're waiting.
They're good. And he goes and gets some bread. He says, have a seat, I'll be right with you. And
I'm
yeah.
going to kind of look at the spider and be like, is this going all right?
So Eric, this guy doesn't know you super well. Like,
No.
you've been into this bar like a dozen times. You know his name because he runs the bar. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, we're definitely barely acquaintances.
yeah.
So when you said
Yeah.
friend, that was not.
I don't know if he
that
ever
was
said friend.
hyperbole.
No.
I don't actually know that
Who
Eric
said
ever used the
friend?
word
Look,
cash.
I
Strongly implied.
interpreted it as friend.
It's my
What?
best friend.
I
He runs
love
the
it.
bar.
I love it. I love everything about it.
You know, your
but
best
yeah.
friend, the lord of the town.
Yeah. Oh, look, he's definitely been nice to you every time you came in. He probably likes Greeky. Greeky's more his speed, you know, like probably hangs out in bars quite a lot. Eric, has probably been in this place. He lived here for what? How old is Eric? Like 22?
Late 20s.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, he probably lived here for like 25 years, and has been in this place no more than a dozen times. Like, whereas Greeky, if he's in town, he'll probably come in on a Friday or Saturday night. Just like, I'm going down to the pub. Yeah.
Greeky has probably gotten into several fights in this pub.
He has definitely started a few, but definitely ended a few as well here. And so he is reasonably well, like, tolerated. He's like, look, I don't like to have to break up every single fight, and Greeky does help with that. So, he comes out a couple of minutes after you find a table and sit down. Now, I'm going to assume you picked up what he was putting down, that maybe go sit down in a place where you are less likely to be overheard.
I did get that vibe. I did get a, you know what,
I might just
go find a corner.
Yeah.
I'll be there in a sec.
Yeah. He comes out with a
basket.
basket.
Me slightly concerned.
He does come out. He comes out a couple of minutes later with a basket of sliced bread, like a French loaf that's been sort of diced, and evenly. None of this doorstop business. And a small pat of butter. That's a private joke between Karen and I, because her family joke that I can't slice bread for shit. I like my loaves. I like my pieces of bread slightly thicker when I'm soaking up my gravy. And yeah, he plunks it down in front of you and takes a seat. Wipes his hands on his apron and sits down, and he says, "Hey, it's nice to hear about old Eric. Yeah, good lad. So, spiritual awakening, is it? That's interesting, that. What manner of spiritual awakening?" And his voice has dropped an octave, dropped a decibel or three. And he says, "'Cause that seems to be a common thing around the Shadow Motes."
Oh, not that kind of spiritual.
You see, it's not sort of super common, not super common knowledge, but yeah, no, you wait a bar long enough, and he's got a beverage of his own. He's come out with a half pint. He says, you wait a bar long enough, you hear things.
Yes, we have also heard of these things. It's not Eric's style.
I.
Kind
Good.
of a spiritual awakening in the opposite direction, you could almost say.
Aye, that's very good. You, as non-winged persons, you keep interesting company if you're friends with Eric Ashbourne, Eric Shadowmold, but I've just read it off the screen. If you're friends with Eric Shadowmold, but if he's had this awakening of yours, as you say, then it makes sort of a sense. But
yeah, let's say he's not really on the same page as his family right now.
aye, well, that's to the good for you. So, word to the wise, you're not from here. Us fair folk, we just keep your wits about you in Brackenmill.
You mentioned that a lot of the Shadow Molts have had this spiritual awakening. Is
I
that
don't know about a lot of them, but
some of them?
the important one.
I think I know who you mean. Is that kind of common in Brackenmill?
It does seem to be going around, yeah.
Right. And would that have anything to do with the number of guards around?
Aye, that is an interesting fact, isn't it? I'm interested that you noticed that. That's relatively new. Have you been here before?
No, but a friend of mine, we're going to go see him later. Basically, we bumped into him a little while ago and asked him, how's things back home? And one of the things he said was that there were guards around which was different. And now having arrived today, I'm like, there are guards around.
Aye.
And the kind of guards you don't normally see in this part
No.
of the world.
No. Well, so this was actually why I came to have a wee chat with you, other than, of course, just to give you the heads up, the what's around, do my bartendery duty, you know. But there was a nasty business about a month ago. It was a lovely day, the wedding. Young Greeky Shadow Malt. He got hitched to a young Saltar's Point lass, actually. Common folk, common as dirt and lovely for it, I think. Can't imagine that went over too well with the family, but no, in Greeky, I don't think he gave a damn.
She must have been pretty special.
As I understand it, no, and that's great. Not that I can say I actually met the lass, maybe there is something going on that I don't know about, but anyway, that day, the lass in question was actually kidnapped.
Oh, is she all right?
Oh, the wedding continued, so one assumes. Someone went and got her back. It was already hush-hush. But apparently some of the guests were famous adventurers or something, and went and they butchered a dozen bandits.
Who would do that at a wedding? That's horrible.
Well, I don't believe it actually happened at the wedding. It was sort of adjacent
okay.
to the wedding, like a wedding
Right.
adjacent, you know. But anyway, yeah, after that, the lady of the town, as it were, Mistress Shadowmold, Yari, her name is. If you haven't met her, kindly old sweetheart, really lovely. And she took something of she had her own feelings about the matter, and shortly thereafter, maybe 2 or 3 days later, a small company of Perch Guard arrive, presumably for protection of those in the town and law and order. I think the original intent was that they would investigate this kidnapping.
Right. But they don't...
Can't say I've heard anything. They keep themselves to themselves. Only a couple of them even drink here, so I don't know that much about it.
Ah. Strange times.
Speaking of strange times here in Brackenmill, but a very small amount of news has been coming in of late, and I like to be one who keeps my ear to the ground and such. What's going on outside? What's the news from wherever it is you're from? You don't have to tell me if you don't want. I'm not a nosy bugger, but if you've got any news to share, folk around here would sure like it. I don't need to tell them where I got it.
Well, what have you heard?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Brackenmill's a fairly major trading hub, as I'm sure you know, but there's been nothing coming in. It's like all the roads have closed the last few days.
How very odd. Question, because I can't remember off the top of my head. What did we write in the sky?
Go to the crest.
Go to the crest.
I don't recall much more than that, but yeah, the bird folk are corrupt. Humble folk should get to the crest. Yeah.
I'll look.
But yeah, it certainly wasn't about like clear the roads or anything like that. But yeah, you do know that some bird folk were deployed to the southeast of the Older Heart. Some Perch Guard were deployed to the refugee camp.
Well, let's say it's been an interesting time in Older Heart.
Aye.
The Wildwood Brigade left.
Up and left. Why?
Well,
And then he
There
actually
was-
lowers his voice. He goes, "Hang on, sorry. Why though?"
well, there was writing in the sky on the day they marched out of town. Basically saying that the bird folk of the council could not be trusted and humble folk should flee to the crest. Specifically, an anti-humble cult controls the council. Leave with us. And a lot of humble folk did. And they're saying that they kidnapped a couple of members of the council, but I don't know if that's true. They're holding an election.
That is quite a tale, is it, lass? Wow. Gosh, the crazy things they get up to at the capital. You put any truck with this? I notice you're heading in the opposite direction. His laughter is, I would say, if you couldn't tell from my marvelous acting, false. It is, well, but put on. He is clearly like, we are not suspicious. Ha 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 ha! No.
Oh yeah, I know. It was an exciting day. Yeah, but, we're just erring on the side of caution,
But not heading to the fortress
Not yet.
yet.
We're trying
You
to.
have. He does not know who either of you are. He says, "Do you have any plans? Would you make any recommendations?"
Well, as much as I feel uncomfortable saying do what the mysterious writing in the sky said,
Valid.
I think if anything odd starts happening, go to the crest.
Then we're well past that, lass.
Oh.
There have been disappearances.
Oh.
There have been, to be completely honest with you, I've heard more than one person was gonna leave. And then mysteriously decided to stay. It's like they just like Brackenmill too much.
Yeah, just something about Brackenmill. Just, they can't tear themselves away.
Second in charge of the town guard. Good servant bloke. Not much upstairs, but a lovely man. Great with kids. He was going to take his family and go home, I believe, across the mountain. They've got a little village out there on the far side of the mountains, east. And he was packing up to go, last I heard. And then he actually decided to stay. It was important that he had to stay, which I thought was damn peculiar, actually.
Question. Who knew about it? That he was getting ready to go?
Most people. He'd said his goodbyes. His kids had finished their final day of school. There'd been a party.
Wow.
Julio will lean to Cash and say, kind of similar to Mark, isn't it?
Mark. Oh,
You know
would he
it?
have heard that?
you
I was
trying-
trying to say it to
You were doing
Cash-
okay. No.
Yes, she decides to bring it
Yeah.
up or not.
No.
I don't want
Yep.
to.
Yes. That is disturbing. Do you think they're likely to stop out-of-towners from leaving?
No, I doubt it. Unless you're very useful. I don't know.
Suppose
How
it can
useful
be.
are you?
Well, it depends on the circumstances.
Well, if
I'm
you'd be
lousy
looking
at
for a job
poetry.
while you're here, I can always use another bartender.
No, Sue, thank you.
Well, anyway, I should be getting back to it. Enjoy the
Yes.
bread.
Thank you so much. The cider is wonderful.
Oh, good. Yeah. My daughter makes it.
Ah,
Stomped
very
with her
kind.
own 2 feet. Cool. Yeah. Dog heads back to the bar.
As he leaves, Julio will turn to Cash and say, well, this is kind of a pickle, isn't it?
I think we need to go see what happened to Mark. Yeah. Is that okay, Beetle Eric?
judicious
I do a
nod
little
of head.
drumming, a little drumming on the shoulder.
I'm gonna take that as a yes, but I think we should just eat our bread and finish our drinks first, so we don't look weird.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at that point we will take a short breaklet. Daria
Also,
can have her thought when
one
we come
question.
back. Yeah.
Right before we go, what's the religion situation in this town? Just as we were walking, as we're in the tavern, what's up?
I will get back to you on that one when we come back.
Okay.
I will have a think. Cool. Alrighty. Yeah, we'll be back in 5 to 10, everybody. Yeah, have a quick little breaklet with Wesh ourselves and head on into the second half. Say goodbye, everybody. Vast ahoy and g'day, mateys. We be back for more Humblewood. Crit and miss, you bloody champions. Thank you so much for the raid, you excellent individuals. How are you? What were you doing? Where have you been? Why are you even? And how does? Shout out at Crit. If I could spell. Crit and miss. Guys, what were you doing? Tell us about it. How did it go? You were playing some D&D? Excellent. Marvelous. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We are currently in Brackenmill in the southeast of the Humblewood. Eric Ashbourne's hometown, but it was Eric Shadowmalt when he left. Ooh, how edgy and different.
Ooh, how bold and
currently-
beautiful.
Exactly. You're not my son. Oh, yes, you are. Good disguise. Yes. He is
You
currently
didn't
a beetle,
recognize
so it's
me
a
for my
very
one
good...
single red feather.
Yeah, yeah. That's my boy. No, my boy. Father, help. Oh, that was a rooster. What am I thinking of? And Kesh and Julio are currently doing some chatting with the barman. Or they've just finished chatting with the barman to get the lay of the land, the down low on what's going on, and have uncovered some deeply unsettling things. That it looks like, yeah, this whole place gone fucky. So, you guys finish up your bread and your apple cider, and your milk. Julio, why milk?
Why not?
Very well.
Nutritious.
Fine.
Good for bones.
It's
It's 3 a.m.
It's not
PM.
cow milk.
It's caterpillar milk.
It would be not. No. It's,
Beetle milk.
It's probably nut milk. It's probably like almond milk or something. Yeah.
Sure.
That's a
fine.
much
Whatever.
nicer answer than I was expecting.
Thank you.
Yeah, good. Delicious.
No, we had to
Especially
establish this a long time ago, actually. I think this is like season 1 of Humblewood. Actually, this is season 9 now. Season 1 of Humblewood, we had to establish what, like, when I determined that most of the large animals in the wood were bugs and insects of various type. Yeah, we had to figure out what bacon was. Streaky back bug bacon is the answer. And then it sent us down a rabbit hole of all what other things would be. And milk was a particular problem point. So yeah, I think it's nuts.
I'd say it's almond milk with a couple of ice cubes and a little mint leaf on top.
Splendid. Yeah. Okay, that's what it is. You enjoy your beverages and your free bread you did not pay for.
I'll leave a few coins on the table though when we leave. I'll leave a
cool.
tip.
Splendid. Julio, you asked about the religion situation. There is a sort of public chapel, church, temple situation. It actually stands out as being one of the few buildings in the town that has been just deliberately constructed. It is it's made of marble. It is a white marble temple to the Amaranthines. To learn more, you would probably have to go inside it. But yeah, think Greco-Roman style in the middle of an extremely arboreal town. Like a lot of the people live in or under trees, and then there is a Greco-Roman temple, basically just sore thumb sticking out like.
Does Grecki like the Greco-Roman temple?
No, he's not a religious chap.
Fair enough.
Yeah. It has some money behind it. Let's put it that way. This was clearly made of non-local stone, in a very non-local style.
Does it seem like a lot of folks are wearing like religious amulets, or there's a lot of foot traffic for the temple? I'm just like trying to get the lay of land of how the cult influenced the religious situation.
The bird folk seem to be wearing a lot of religious iconography. Yeah. The humble folk. Yeah, actually, I would say the people of Brackenmill are fairly Amaranthine fearing. Very, very sort of faithful people. You would see a lot of Julio, make a perception check.
Okay. Perception.
For a more detailed answer to this one.
Ciao. 12.
12. You would... Yeah, religion isn't your... Like, the religions of the wood isn't really your speciality. You're actually kind of a monotheist, oddly enough. But you do spot symbols of... It's very much down party lines. The symbols the birdfolk are wearing are the symbols of birdfolk Amaranthines. The humble folk... You do not see a single humble folk wearing... the religious iconography of a bird folk, Amaranthine.
Okay, I take a note of that.
There would be... The humble folk are wearing symbols, a lot of it's Kereth or Henwin, are the two sort of primary humble folk deities that are given particular reverence to here, whereas it is largely Ardea. It's a lot of sun tokens, on the humble folk. On the bird folk. There'd be another one. There, Henwin.
What are their...
Hanera.
Like...
The other one would be Hanera, the Gallus Amaranthine.
And the main, like, concepts of these gods are, like, trade? Or...
Ardea is the sun. Henwin and Kereth are... Henwin is, like, life. Henwin and Kereth are very much about life and growing and the harvest. It's all earth and life deities. If you were to give them an elemental alignment, all the ones you see here are either life or earth elementally aligned.
Okay.
I recently went through and established the elemental alignments of all the Amaranthines, of the 6 elements of this world, and Kereth and Hanera are earth, and Ardea and Henwin are life. Hath, Titon and Kren are death, Gaspard and Gesmi are fire, Altus and children are water, and Rhea and children are air. Children sort of does double duty because children is a pair. Is the twin god. Yeah, that was part of my lore building, my world building, because I don't do a lot of it, and I sat down and did some. Watch your back, the Doctor in the movie, the game. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. So do you head out and go to Mark's?
Yes, once we finished, I'll toss a couple of coins on the table and kind of go and, like, casually give,
Toss a coin to your barkeep?
Yeah. Give
Oh,
Dog
Valley of
and
Plenty?
Marjorie a bit of a, thank you.
Hey, see you again soon, lass. Nice to meet you.
And, head back out onto the street. Though I am going to try and keep an eye out to check that no one follows us out of the bar.
You are very welcome to do that.
Just
Perception
in
check,
case.
please.
Oh, good idea.
Just feeling a little paranoid right now, so dirty 20.
A dirty 20, very nice. You keep your eyes peeled. You're strangers in a town that hasn't seen a lot of foot traffic recently. You would probably guess that your conversation with the barkeep did not go unnoticed. But no one thought much of it. They know that Dog he's a not so much a gossip, but he likes to be informed. And he likes to do some informing as well. In a town that does not have a council per se, it has a sort of landed gentry a bit. What the Shadow Malts say, it's not so much what they say is law. They are the people who run the law in this town, but they are not above it. If somebody said, hey, a Shadow Malt did something seriously uncon to me, it would be taken seriously. However, their wishes are taken with extreme prejudice. You know, it's not quite law, but basically almost. Whereas Dog McCall would be the village headman, sort of like if somebody was to run for election against Iari Shadowmalt, it would be Dog, and he might win. In that hugely hypothetical situation.
Interesting.
But no one appears to be following you.
Cool, good. Like it.
So,
Project Incognito appears to be working.
At least reasonably well. Added to the fact that Kesh is known in all the boroughs, but not necessarily famous.
No.
So you head to Mark's. Mark indicated when he met you a smithy. Now when you last met him, he said he was a smith in training. However, above the lintel of this smithy that he pointed to, is a freshly painted sign that says Swift Cobble's Smithy.
That's quick.
Of this pleasant though soot-blackened abode / place of work. Like a lot of smithies, it is partially outdoors. It's got a roof over a semi-outdoor working area. It's walled in on two sides of the four. This forge area, his workplace, and the other side is sort of fenced off. Has a bit of a garden with a large wood pile in it. The interior is cooler than you'd expect. The forge is not lit, and a young Vulpan girl in a soft pink dress, who incongruously also has a thick leather apron on over the top of her pretty pink dress, is minding the counter. And a curtain once again covers a door leading into the dwelling proper.
Hello.
Hello.
We're here to see Mark. He should be expecting us.
Okay. He did say there'd be some people coming. I'll go get him. Dad! And she runs out the back. And no more than 15 seconds later, Mark appears. Question. Eric. Art thou still a bug?
I am. I was just looking at how long I can remain a bug, and it's 4 hours.
Oh, you're still good then.
Yeah.
Yep. It's just whether or not you want to be involved in this conversation directly, but okay.
Look, if he says something that...
he may say, where the hell's Eric?
Yeah, if he says something that I feel the need to respond to, then I can turn back.
Sure. You can do this twice a day. Yeah. Mark pops out, wiping his hands down with a rag. He smells of lapping powder and oil. He says, "Oh, hello, thanks for coming. Good to see you. What brings you out this ways?"
That's a long story.
I reckon. I mean, I only just got back a couple of days myself.
Yes, I figured it would have been fairly recent. I'm surprised you're still here.
Yeah. So, I'm going to be honest. The wife's baking a cake right now, it's a pie. That's the present. because I realized at the time I didn't have a present for you, and because actually that was something of I was misleading you. I actually just wanted to have a chat, in the quiet. So it's been a bit of a whirlwind 4 days since I last saw you. I rode a Hiscalia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I went back to Alderheart, and I was like, you know what? After chatting with you guys, I thought, maybe I should just get the family out. Maybe I should just go up to the crest. I finished my qualifications. I could be a blacksmith up there and learn maybe some armory, that sort of stuff. I don't get much call for it down here. So yeah, I thought, well, I've heard from them and the Wildman Brigades. It's all happening. It seems like the best time. So I was like, well, fuck it. I've got 25 gold pieces. I might as well burn some of that and hop on, see if I can catch a ride with someone going there a bit faster. And there isn't much faster than Hiscalia, so 3 gold pieces later, and a terrifying ride down a long, long rope. And I'm dropped off outside my front door, morning of the second day after I saw you guys. The missus was... Look, she dealt with it. Her mother went home early, because... me being gone, obviously, my wife needed less support. Yeah. Obviously, I'm very fond of my mother-in-law. She's a lovely lady. Anyway, yeah. So we started packing, and then my master, as in, like, the guy who taught me how to be a blacksmith, not like I'm a slave or anything. Although it felt like that sometimes. Tells me he's retiring, of all things. Yeah, that morning. Jorvik, his name was. Yeah, he was. He and I have been chatting about me buying the business off him when he retired and when I qualified, so he could retire. Sound great. And I realised that actually 20 gold pieces was enough to sort of tick me over into the purchasable range. So I had 22 left. I bought the wife a nice gift in Alderheart, and then I had 20 left to drop on it. And yeah, I said to him, I need to have a chat actually about... He came in and says, I want to have a talk with you, Mark, now that you're back. Thank you for telling me you were leaving. I did not specify exactly what happened. I said it was an urgent family emergency that my wife was not aware of. Fortunately, he and Claire don't get along super well. Something about him working me like a dog. It's not something that tracks here. Let me hang on. Working me like a dung beetle.
What the fuck's a dog?
Shut up! Something that hides in trees and shouts, I think.
And barks, yeah.
But, I said I might actually be in a position I was wanting to leave, and he said, oh, that's a shame. I was actually wondering how close you were to being able to buy the place off me, because I could give you a discount because I really want to retire ASAP, which I thought was a bit weird because he loves his job. And 20 gold pieces was the ticket, and I said, well, we're thinking of going. We're thinking of actually relocating once I've qualified. Now it's sort of, plans change. Really sorry. I'm sure you can find someone else to sell the business to, though. And he says he'll think about it. He'll have a think. And then about 2 hours later, now it was coming up on 10 at night. No, I was still in here. Obviously, the forge was lit. I was working. When an unsettling chap knocks on the door. I open it. It's a Corvan bloke, all in black. Cloak up. And could barely make out his face. And he asked if he could come in. And I said... just tell me what you're looking for. I didn't actually let him in. And he says, I just wanted to chat with you. I've heard that your family is planning on relocating. And I said, well, what business is it of yours? And he says, oh, I've just come from Lady Shadowmolt, who says she would really rather your family stayed. She values your work very highly. Some very nice things about the quality of my work, and how she would be prepared to kick in some funds to assist with the restocking and restoring of the smithy, and she's actually got a large commission for me to make armor. Now, I never made armor before, and as I told him, I said, look, I have never made armor before. I don't really see how that how I could be of any assistance to the lady. And she says, oh, apparently she's going to hire someone to teach me how to make armor, that I can do it here for her. How wonderful is that, right? This man is... I've met a few people. I've met Benneck, for goodness sake. I've met... Where's your Corvan friend? Where's Eric?
Oh, he's keeping a low profile.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Anyway. Yeah. Because he's a oh, is that why? Because he's a shadow mole. Right. Yes. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. With you. Okay. So yeah. Where was I? So yeah. This man is comfortably the scariest individual I have ever met, and I've met Benneck. I've met Benneck when he was holding a shovel from just burying someone.
Reburying.
There was a fresh dug grave.
Look,
that
technically
I
he was already
appeared
dead.
on. I'm
He was
glad
already
that
dead.
I'm
We just put him
glad that the
back.
person you buried was dead. Anyway, so this man easily more scary than Benneck in that moment. So just to give you some idea of what we're dealing with here, and didn't give his name, and look, I was obviously trying to be polite. We were still at the door, and eventually I just had to put my foot down. You know, my home, and I said, look, tell the lady I'm very flattered, but honestly, the family, there's some other issues to consider, and we will be going. But a pleasant evening to you. And I go to close the door, and then he is behind me, inside the house. Not sure how he did it. And he goes all quiet and says, I think that would be very unwise. Consider your children. And then he's not there anymore. Step backward into a shadow that isn't there now. And then he was gone. And I was kind of glad, but I was also really not glad. That sort of person, I want to be able to see him at all times, forever now. And ideally see my children at the same time and not have them be in the same place, that sort of thing. So yeah, we bought the place. Yay!
Yay!
Isn't it
Yay.
great? Yeah, and Jorvik's gone. He's off. He's done. I am the village blacksmith of Brackenmill. Congratulations, me.
And Jorvik
and I didn't
is
even have to
done?
spend the 20 gold pieces because Iari Shadowmolt did it for me.
How generous of her.
Yeah.
Yeah, what happened to the Jorvik though? Is he like fully gone or is he alive?
Jorvik, I believe he was going back to his family. They live in Alderheart.
Could I insight?
I think he said he was going to stay with his daughter and her family. He's an older chap, you know. He's in his declining years. His feathers have started to turn grey, you know, that sort of thing. You may insight. Why? To what end?
That basically that I'm reading him correctly, that he's telling the story as if everything's fine, but everything is not fine. I only rolled a 9 though, so
He is clearly like he's giving you the legit, and everything is not fine. He said, and then he's like, so yeah. And I didn't ask you in here specifically to help me. I'm just wanting you to know that's because the last time we saw each other, you were asking if there's anything going on in Brackenmill. That's the sort of thing that's going on in Brackenmill. And to my knowledge, I'm not the first.
No, we got that impression ourselves. Right.
Also, I popped in 2 days ago on the back of a Hiscalia. Made something of a people that was arguably the most I've ever been talked about ever, I think. And to my knowledge, no one else other than you guys have arrived since.
Is the city like closed?
Not really. You can't close it off. It's a tree. Or a bunch of them. There's no wall. It's not the Shadowmart estate. There's
But it's
like
strange. It's
20
a merchant
20
hub.
soldiers. Yeah. There should have. That's what I mean. Where is everybody? But I happen to know, because a little bird told me, that there was an army marching off to the crest. Do you have anything to know about that?
Us have anything to do with that? That doesn't sound like something we'd be involved in, does it, Julio? It doesn't sound like something we'd be involved in.
No,
yeah,
no.
it's interesting.
No.
Beetle
Why
is
is that?
shaking its head.
Why is that beetle shaking its its head?
It's also a surprise.
Right. I'm gonna roll up.
I love Mark.
Yeah, Mark goes, right. Cool, I didn't know he could do that. That's weird. That's super weird. I wonder what that's like.
Yeah.
My pet bug. He's very smart.
When he stops being a bug, do you want to, if he wants to pop by and tell me what it's like to have 6 limbs, I'm just curious. Anyway, so yeah,
DM,
that's,
sorry.
about 15 minutes, the pie will be ready. Thanks, sorry for your time. Yeah?
DM, does the Corva man that Mark described, does that MO seem familiar to me?
Probably. Yeah. Yeah. You've met a couple that fit that description. Like, he would
I was
describe it a bit
thinking
further if
more-
you want, and fell.
Okay. Right. Wasn't Fel...
The guy who turned into Menzeloth.
I thought he was a raptor.
Might have been.
I...
Might have been. If it was, yes. It's that.
Okay.
This is what happens when I don't have my notes.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Yeah. No,
I
I'm pretty
imagine
sure
just
Fel
black and dark
was a
and...
raptor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Alright, yes.
Um,
Raptor chap then.
Yeah. No, I thought it might have
But
been
still
different
dark
from-
plumage, like black plumage.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I'm happy to make small talk until the pie is ready, and then go sneak down to Granny's house because we have some snooping to do.
I would ask Mark one more thing, which is, has he, heard of the same happening to the second in command in the guard? The
Yes.
servum guy.
Yeah, that was a thing. Terence. Yeah, he and his family, the girls go to school with his boys. That he is still, though, interestingly, they may value his services very much, but he is not the second in command anymore.
Is he the first in command?
He hasn't been demoted, just other people have been promoted. It's the way I hear it. He is still a lieutenant, but there's a lieutenant with 2 captains above him now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who is in command, out of curiosity?
It's a Strig. What was his name? Travis Brightfeather.
And did you hear of
He's
anyone
not.
else?
He's new as well. Recent addition. Well, I say recent, like 2 months. Recent.
Did you hear of anyone else being visited by that scary smoke orb?
Never heard of anyone else, and I asked. I did make some very quiet investigations, my thought was to use some of that cash you gave me to send a message. But this was much more convenient. Trevor did not have a similar meeting with a shadowy shadowy raptor, but he had a very similar conversation with Travis Brightfeather. And 2 days later, and this was 2 weeks ago for him, 2 days later, one of his subordinates gets made a captain. Not connected, though, I wouldn't have thought. Be weird.
I don't suppose all these promotions have a certain feathery similarity to them.
Now you mention it, I think they might.
I just had a feeling, you know.
Yeah. Kesh, I have a favour to ask.
Yes?
I don't know what you're here to do. I probably don't want to know what you're here to do. But when you go, can I come with you?
Mark?
You can say no. It would be me and the kids and the wife. It would Claire and Reba and our little one's still a babe in arms, so they won't be a problem. But
Mark, I'm not completely across what's going on here, but if we can get you out of town, we will. Okay?
Thank you.
Does anyone else feel like making a really big distraction again?
Yeah.
Maybe blow something up.
Do you need anything sharpened while I'm here? You know, I've got the lapping powder out. Got 10 minutes while Claire's doing the Claire, come and meet. He doesn't shout your names.
Come and meet my friends who definitely are important people.
Claire, this is Major Kesh Gledherweave of the Wildwood Brigade, and Mr. Julio Switchgear, I think it is.
That cheapo.
Also, yeah, whatever that is. What's that then?
I believe it's pronounced Treesatz Poperach.
Yeah, thank you.
And she goes, "Oh, that's very nice then. What's that?"
Oh, he's just got a deep spiritual connection with trees, really.
Oh, who doesn't then? I love trees. We're in one.
Yeah, exactly.
Claire's not the brightest hath in the firmament, but she is a lovely person, and she has in bright pink oven mitts is carrying an apple pie that is fresh from the oven. She's like, it is very hot, and now can I have a favour to ask. No, Claire, I've already asked. I don't think it's the same one. Can you not whisk him off again?
Oh.
Look, I appreciate the cash. That was great. We loved it. And it's a fun story to tell. It would be nice if he stopped telling it. What? I'm sorry. It's just the most interesting thing that's happened to me in my entire life. It's the most interesting thing that's happened to anybody in anyone's entire life. And it does still, I'm sick of hearing about it.
I love them.
Oh, I'm just flashing to Robot Chicken, and that was the greatest day of Daddy's life. What about when I was born? Not even close.
Yeah, please, particularly in about a week's time, the little one, Reba, has got her dance recital, and he is going. Hey, Tony. The time passes. You maybe get a slice of pie. You take one in a little paper bag for Eric for later. While you're there, Mark sharpens your swords and your knives and whatever. And no, I'm not going to do that. Oh, I am. Karen,
I don't like that laugh.
Karen, pick highs or lows.
No, I always screw this up.
Tony, roll
Lows.
a D2 in chat, please.
Watch me get the worst option.
Lows. Yeah. Amazing.
Wow.
It's
Every
genuinely
time.
impressive.
Every time.
That's
Yeah.
impressive.
I worked
Is that
out
4 for 4?
Yeah, 5. 5 for 5.
5.
I can't pick highs or lows. I can't
it's
do it.
amazing. It's amazing.
It's just.
It's cool. Don't worry about it. It was such a minor thing. I just thought that's why it was funny to me. I was just going to give you advantage on your next melee attack because you sharpened your sword, but...
Well, don't tell me if I'm not gonna get it. Mean.
You'd think statistically, but no. Yeah, no, it's weird. It's like the stream is listening. Alrighty.
Is it getting dark? Is it evening yet?
Yeah, it's probably sort of 5:30-ish.
Cool. I would like to stealth my way towards the Shadow Malt mansion.
Very well, you do that. Julio, you are one with the shadows. In fact, Julio, your cloak would probably be kind of helpful for this. Kesh, you can hide very easily in foresty surroundings because you're a ranger. So I believe it's advantage stealth checks for both of you.
Good, because I just rolled a 1. Yay, 25!
25.
1 to 25. Go me.
Nice. And a filthy
20.
20 for Julio.
Quite low, actually, for me.
On yeah, I know, right? With your plus 12. I, of all people, definitely know how that feels, so Bishop Blood to Karen, I
Yeah.
think. Cool. Yeah, you approach the Shadow Malt mansion. I'm just going to roll for the guards. Yeah, a natural fuck. And a 16 isn't
Natural
bad, but they... the shiny glass dice.
Nice.
The faceted glass dice with the fuck and a yeet. Still one of my favorite dice. Yeah, they do not spot you. It was close for the other one. The other one got a 16 and has a plus 3, but you managed to stealth by. So, how are you planning on getting in?
Well, I was gonna get there and basically unleash the beetle and see what happened.
Cool. You unleash the beetle. Unleash the beetle! The Kraken.
Okay.
The beetle goes.
The beetle flies and hovers in front of them for a couple of seconds.
Yep.
Cool. And then sees no intent for them to come with in whatever way.
Wait.
And
I'll give you an inspiration. Because I'm a bard.
no, you're a bard.
Nice.
Great.
Are you?
Is it
Oh, weird.
D6?
Yes.
Yes, it is D6.
Okay, cool. Great. How long have I been a beetle?
2 hours, 2.5.
Okay, great.
You've easily got an hour left. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say we didn't spend that long at either place.
No.
And if I do run out, it looks like in the druid thing it says that I can just spend
Burn another one
to
without
just-
turning back. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So I'm going to fly. I assume we're kind of around the side and not like.
Yeah, I didn't
Directly
stroll
in
up to the
front of
front
the-
gate.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Eric, you would know. In fact, I will describe the place.
Yeah.
The Shadow Malt Estate is surrounded by a 10-foot brick wall and tasteful wrought iron gates. The Shadow Malts have always stood apart. The grounds within lack all the haphazard natural vibe of the perch, and instead have been landscaped to within an inch of their lives. As you approach, you can see a pair of groundskeepers, a gerbine and a servant, trimming a lawn by hand. Groves of flowering trees, statues, and ornamental ponds are scattered artfully around the grounds, above which a collection of a dozen trees contains the house itself. More of a series of buildings joined by balconies and walkways, the Shadow Malt home is somewhere one could get lost inside. They
That's
are...
not foreboding.
they
before
are-
I go in by myself.
Well, you've been here. This is the
Why,
place
yes,
you grew up.
that
You
does,
You are one of the few who wouldn't get lost in this place, unless you
Yes.
went to the servant quarters. And even then, Eric probably knows the servant quarters quite well. You would know the estate borders on a thicker part of the wood, where the wall is not particularly good at keeping people out, which is why it has the incantation on it, the warding, which is basically just in the guardhouse. It doesn't just if a living being flies over it or whatever, it doesn't go whoop whoop whoop. But if a sentient being jumps over the wall, the guardhouse would be notified. There is a bell in the guardhouse that goes off, which is always monitored. Eric would know that. However, people still managed to get in on the day of the wedding, though the day of the wedding was different. But if you go in through the front gate, not a problem.
They don't mind you coming in where they can see you.
I mean, if all three of you wanted to get inside, Eric could polymorph Julio. Julio could go in through the front gate as a beetle, which would not be noticed. Kesh could teleport through the wall, and Eric could then turn himself back into a beetle to fly over it. That would be how to get all three of you inside without activating the thing. Just saying.
Except I didn't pack polymorph.
Then you can't do it. Never mind.
It's okay. It's only
I
like
thought I
information
had, but
gathering.
I guess not.
Tony has redeemed an inspiration. But Tony, I've already got one. Julio needs this. Very well. All right, Julio. You have two.
Yes?
Tony's given you another.
Wow.
We've been stacking them so much. I don't want to make a habit of it, but I'll allow it this time. Because I'm nice like that.
Nice.
So yeah.
I tell you what, I will try. I will hover in front of them, and then I will turn back into Eric and say, I have an idea. This probably won't be permanent, but it will at least be temporary if the two of you want to come with me.
Okay, sure.
I am going to turn to the wall and put hands on it and attempt to cast Dispel Magic.
That'd do it, huh? Yep.
Ooh, nice.
Cast Dispel Magic. At what level?
Third.
Make me a... Is it Arcana? Or is it just you make a spellcasting check?
Yeah, I think it's a spell casting check with
Your spell attack modifier.
Yeah, hold on. It's in here. The DC is 10 plus the spell's level.
The number you need is
and
14.
Yeah, and it's an ability check.
Yeah.
Using my spell casting modifier.
So wisdom. It's a wisdom check. Yeah.
Yeah. With advantage, I assume, if it's the spell casting modifier. Sorry, with proficiency.
I don't know if it's with your proficiency. If it doesn't say it's with your proficiency.
Because
Otherwise, it would be your spell attack mod, which is...
Make an ability check using your spell casting ability. Yeah, I suppose that's true. Okay. Wisdom it is.
Just wisdom then.
You do have
Yeah.
Bardic Inspiration.
True. Do I need to call that
Nope.
before I roll?
Well, I've told you what the DC is, but you don't need to call it before you roll.
Yeah. Okay.
You would normally have to call it before I tell you whether or not you succeed or fail, but I've
Yeah.
already blown my
Well,
cover.
that's
Not that it
21.
matters, because 21. Nice. Okay. You temporarily nullify the... You know that you've got probably 10 minutes on this stretch of wall before it before it sort of bounces back. But you've kind of like throwing a blanket over it. It's
Yeah. We've got 10 minutes before I have to cast this again, so
Let's go.
it's only going over the wall. So let's go.
Julio leaps it in a single bound.
Yep. I assume I'll have to climb.
Yeah, it would. It's 10 feet. Oh. You can make a very low acrobatics check. Yeah.
Does a 17 get me over the wall?
You know what? Yes, it does. Yeah.
For now, I'm not going to turn back into a bug, so I'm going to try to climb as well.
Sure.
Would this be athletics or acrobatics or
Whichever you favour.
Neither. Athletics, I'm technically better at.
Hey,
But
Moose.
they've got the same modifier.
Oof.
That's a 5.
Oof.
I like it when the cat tail manages to give Daria a magnificent handlebar mustache.
You
Yes.
do have your bardic
Oh, by the way-
inspiration.
Yeah. D6.
Yeah, but a D6 on a 5 probably isn't gonna.
I mean, it's
Well,
really
you're
just
gonna
you make
take
a bit
it.
of a fool of yourself as you fall over. Like you
I
just
mean, that's in character.
you can't like, and then you turn and climb a tree, which you would, I believe, because you have claws.
Yes.
Birds have tree climbing advantage, or is that
dunno.
just streak? I think that might just be streak.
I mean, birds use trees as a thing, right?
Yeah, but yeah, the
Yeah.
trees have overhang over the walls. Like it really isn't difficult to get over. All you
I
need
mean,
to do
I
is
can
climb the
climb and
tree
fly.
and then glide.
Yeah.
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 Don't even roll for it.
Um,
You just do. It's like,
I have advantage on athletics checks made to climb any surface.
oh yeah,
Any surface that your talent could reasonably grip.
yeah. That's a
So
tree.
I
Yeah.
assume. Yeah, cool.
Well, in
The
which
wall?
case you
Roll again,
you
or
would have had
just
it
do
for you would have had it for the wall too. Athletics.
Yes. Yeah. Look, let me roll it again for shits and giggles. Exactly the same.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. It's all that time spent as a beetle. You're not
Yeah.
you're not feeling. You're used to having 6 limbs.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
I'll-
Okay.
I'll climb. I know. Surely I should get a prize for that, like being able to get into my own house. Yeah, I'll
I
climb
mean,
a tree.
you could
and
always
then
have
glide
turned
over.
back into yourself on the other side of the wall.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I didn't.
Never mind. You climb over the wall and glide. Everybody is inside.
right.
This was not supposed to be an obstacle that would really stop you.
No.
I just can't climb today. So yeah, you're inside. What do you do? Where do you go? Kesh, you've been here before once, but you've never been more than you went into part of the house. I think was Kesh there when Eric went to see his mum, or was she?
No.
I believe I was at the wedding.
You did go and check out the room where the bride was getting ready.
Yes.
At the
Yeah.
wedding. So you have been inside, but only to one small part of it. And then you did a run around on a balcony outside, knocked out a guard, as I recall, and then went and ran down some bandits, retrieving Greeky's paramour,
I'm a useful
whose name
person
I
at
cannot
weddings.
remember.
Let me find it. I'm pretty sure I wrote it down somewhere. Anyway, keep
It was a very normal name. It was a modern
It
person
was.
name.
Miriam.
Miriam, that was it. Yeah. Miriam Shadowmalt. It's a nice name. So, yeah, what do you do?
Well, I'm following Eric's lead on
Yeah,
this. It's his house.
I'm assuming that, yeah.
Where does he want? Where does he think we should go?
It is, and now, because you are under a canopy as well, it is dim, but not dark. Sort of dusk.
I feel like I would probably be used to, at the very least, like have a little hiding spot, at least within the grounds, if
Yeah.
not be used to climbing the walls and stuff, which obviously
Sure.
I'm not.
Well, I think
But
you
I'm
would
at least
probably
out of
have...
practice.
You probably would have glided out. You would probably have... I don't think you do a lot of climbing. Bishop Blood is correct. Yeah, Mapatch just do have a climbing speed, so Kesh didn't even need to roll for it, technically. Yeah, they just do that. Yeah.
Yay!
So yeah, because from within the house you are easily higher than the wall, so gliding out is not a problem.
Yep.
So yeah, are you heading for that? Is that where you're going? Your secret spot?
Yeah, I think so. Just so we kind of have a relatively secure base of operations while we're in the grounds.
Okay. What would it be? Your hidey hole, your personal little retreat. I'm imagining like at the top of a tree, like climbing all the way up and sitting and perching.
I was actually thinking the opposite.
Uh-huh. Yeah, he's down to earth. He's a tender. Yeah.
Eric is grounded. He was never a particularly strong flyer. So, and if you're a bird folk and you want to avoid being found by other bird folk, then I feel like be on the ground.
Sure. Okay. Please describe it.
Yeah, I'm thinking like a part of the house that has like a hole on the outside or is like been dug up slightly that goes into like a little maybe not the cellar proper, but like some old forgotten room in the basement.
Yep, absolutely. I'm thinking so the house is primarily in the branches. However, there would be ground level stuff. Iari Shadowmalt does not. It's not so much that humble folk are not allowed. She simply does not employ any humble folk that are likely to set foot in the house. In the last 50 years, the number of humble folk feet that have trodden the boards of her house number less than a dozen. But on the ground level, on the ground floor, there would be, servants' quarters and the occasional, like, cupboard shed, whatever, for materials and stuff. And absolutely, I can easily imagine, in his mid-teens, Eric found one of these abandoned and made it his sort of cubby house hidey hole, moved in some old furniture and made it a proper sort of teenager's retreat. And all the groundsmen and the servants knew that this was Eric's spot. Don't try and take this room back over. So it is still very much your space. The only one, I imagine your parents knew you had one, but if they were looking for you, they would either send to you saying, "Where the hell are you? Get up here," or they would send someone looking for you. Probably, I think Wraith.
Wraith would. I would have.
So Wraith would know about
Wraith
it.
If not have shared it with him.
Yeah. And Wraith may well still use it.
Yeah.
How much younger than you is Wraith? Sort of 6-7 years?
Yeah.
So he's early 20s now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Know your place,
he's definitely
pheasants.
not a child.
No, yeah. But a young man still finding his feet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. So you take them there.
Yeah, I will explain that to them, that the family shouldn't know about this. Some of the grounds people will, and my brother knows about it. But I didn't even see him at the wedding. I didn't even get a chance to speak to him, so I have no idea where his head is at. His name is Wraith. I don't see why he would have any reason to come here, but if he does, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. So if we get lost or separated, or I need to leave the two of you behind to crawl into a gap in a window or something, then I thought it would be good for us to be able to have this place here.
Good idea.
Cool. Awesome.
This is going to sound weird, but are there any, like, with the old the last generation of saviors or defenders of Alderheart, would they have had like any promotional material, like posters or anything?
Yeah. You know who definitely would have? Like a recruiting sort of thing would be the tenders.
Yeah.
The older heart needs you, sort of thing. Yeah. Yeah, they definitely would be like, yeah, some Captain America style shit. There might be, I don't know, would there like a poster of Lazarus?
Yeah.
Would Eric have
I have no
revered
doubt
Lazarus?
it would exist, but I
Yeah.
don't think
No, this is the thing. Definitely would exist. But I don't think Eric's the sort who would have had one. But I think he's more sort of the it would be a little bit more like for the tenders, it would be a bit more think People's Republic sort of think yeah, several silhouettes of birdfolk and humblefolk all raising wands in silhouette together as they fight the fire. That's more sort of the vibe of the poster,
fancy.
I think.
Yeah.
In Eric's hidey hole, would he have like an old dirty magazine with cloacas in it?
No, it's all Tails. We know this.
Yeah, Tails.
Bishop Blood,
Sure.
a
Just Tails.
Susan of the Swamp pin-up. Eh?
Yes.
She was a
Yes.
looker back in the day. We're talking
Back
about...
in the day.
We're talking
If
about
anyone,
doing...
it would probably be Riffin.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Heroic
Yeah.
Griffin poster.
Yeah,
Yep.
he...
With a tail.
It's photorealistic because it was a picture that someone magically transcribed.
Yeah.
There's like a still shot, and he looks a little uncomfortable. Like he's clearly striking a pose, but it's sort of like, is this what you're looking for, lad? Like that sort of. yeah, keep doing it, hero. Okay. That sort of vibe to it. Like, it's nice, but it's certainly a solid 8 out of 10 on the heroic meter, but Lazarus pulls it off effortlessly. Riffin,
Yeah.
it doesn't sit quite the same way. He's like, I'm a hero, but I don't need people to love me for it. Whereas Lazarus feeds on that, or fed on that. He's dead now.
Yeah, you keep saying it so much that it's a little suspicious.
Granny got gams.
Um,
Is this what you're looking
yeah.
for? Maybe this. Yeah, coquettish ingenue, high school senior. He tries all of them.
I mean, yeah, I don't know how across the Saviors Hulu is, but if Cash notices, will probably notice the lack of Lazarus representation, particularly notable since he's also a Corvin.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
I won't comment on it though.
Yeah.
I'll just be like, there we go, see them.
There's a servant as well.
Bishop Blood, draw me like one of your French hedge.
Nice.
Yeah, there is a
not that
massive tanky servant as well in a poster, and he's standing like he is completely unaware of the artist because he might have been.
Yeah.
Stilgar was his
look,
name.
If I have posters or pictures of the rest, I don't think I would omit Lazarus.
Yeah, right.
But like he wouldn't have pride of place.
Sure.
He's
Yeah.
tucked in a corner behind a bookshelf.
Yeah.
So it's like Eric's teenage bedroom that you're coming into. There is a couple of worn but very like lumpy but comfortable enough chairs, like armchairs. Like there's a lounger, and
Probably raggedy silk.
yeah, and books. I'm
Yeah.
guessing Eric was a reader.
Yeah, absolutely.
What is noteworthy, Eric, is that there is no dust.
Yeah.
The fireplace has been lit within the last week.
Someone's taken over your secret spot.
Not taken
But-
over. It is still largely the way it's supposed to be.
Someone has
pristine.
maintained.
Someone has maintained and uses it semi-regularly, but is not interfering with it, is not changing it.
Okay. Well, I suppose that can only be a good sign.
Is there like a door to here that we can lock?
The entrance is sort of down half a flight of stairs and into the base of a tree. And there is a door. Yeah.
Okay. So
It is. It looks like a cupboard from the outside. It's not like there are no windows. It is quite not dank, but it is dark down here. There are candles. It's all like the burnt down stubs that Eric would have like gathered from around the house, because it was like, oh, we don't use up the whole candle. We throw it out when it's done its job, and now we'll get a new one. I don't want to have a half candle burn out on me halfway through.
Just the poor folk around the back just getting buckets of half-burnt
Brilliant!
candles out of the trash.
And then melting them together.
Dumpster diving behind the Shadow Malt estate. Guys, there's like a ton of candles in here.
No,
You know
Eric
what there
keeps
would
nicking
be?
them.
There would be shapes made out of melted wax, prominently of like birds, in probably red wax.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah. Those have been interfered with, Eric.
Yeah.
Basically, I my question was about basically if we have to retreat here, can we lock ourselves in?
Yes.
If I'm with you, then yes.
Lilith not missing a player, so much as Benneck has left. Benneck went off on his own. Not on his lonesome. He went off with Nevermore. Nevermore had a thing. And so Benneck has gone that-a-ways. Dan is a very busy person and has not the spoons for us right now, which is completely fair. So we have done a temporary write-out, with the option to resume Benneck's adventures and continue involvement in the party whenever Dan is ready, and that is totally cool. So currently it is a 3-person party, and that's okay. Dabs for Dan. Spoons are important, exactly. Which is why I'm trying to do my level best to respect that sort of thing from my players, absolutely. It's
Brendan,
important.
why do you
Like, how
keep
dare
every
you
time
have needs outside of the channel?
Dan has also been in more of my Humblewood than anybody other than me. By a comfortable margin, so he needs time off, that's totally legit. So imagine, let us say we do one more scene, Eric. If you have a scene that you would like to do, if you would have something you would like to go and investigate, we shall do that, and then we shall call it a night.
There's a lot of places that I would like to be to overhear things, but I feel like the highest priority for Eric would be he will turn into a beetle and go to his mother's room.
Very well. Sure. You flutter on up there. Are you leaving Kesh and Julio there?
I want to... I'm not going to interact with her, but I don't know if I've mentioned this. I think Revanye did yesterday or today, but
It was quiet, though. I don't know if he necessarily made it common. Yeah.
My mother is not well. She's quite sickly, and she has been for some time. So I kind of want to check in on her, but then after that, I would like to see if I can eavesdrop on grandmother, or see if we can find any letters or anything.
So, we're here?
Obviously, well, that's up to you. I can get around very easily in basically any form that I'm in. So it's up to the two of you whether you want to try to find your own way in or wait here. I don't expect I should be too long.
A place that they could gainfully check out, that you could tell them where it is, and may or may not be inhabited at this time of day, would be the family chapel.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, I will mention that.
Well,
And I will say to... I need not even say this, but keep an eye out for secret doors, for trapdoors, or in fact, if it's grandmother, any secret doors are likely to lead up.
Yeah, Eric, if anything happens to us or to you, is there any way for us to contact each other?
If only had someone had the
No.
message spell.
If only.
I mean,
Skywriting.
I could send Hope.
yes, if you get in trouble, send Hope to us. And if you don't find us in the chapel or here, we're probably in trouble.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, look, we know the cult's MO, and
We'll
it
try not
doesn't
to.
seem to be murdering you.
Well, it wasn't last time.
No.
You know, maybe they've
So-
changed their mind.
Maybe they have.
Look,
or
we'll try
maybe
not-
things will be different since you're on their property, but
I want to not be found sneaking around your family's property, just to be clear.
yes.
Preferably, they never know we did this.
No, I want that too. I definitely want to have a confrontation with my grandmother, but I would like to do that.
Not
openly.
while she thinks we broke into her house.
Yes. Is this a bad idea?
Look, even if it was, we've done it now. So, try not to worry too much about it.
Very well.
Great. My feathers are standing up.
And then they mold down. What does it look like when Eric turns into a beetle?
It would probably start with the feathers of them folding down.
So it's a slow thing,
and then
it's not
getting
just-
smooth and glisten. Yeah, it would be a slowish morph.
Cool.
Probably quite disturbing to watch,
Probably.
to be honest.
Yeah.
Because particularly with the head, either the head being the last thing to transform
Or the first.
first thing.
Yeah.
Either
No, both
way,
are bad.
It would be pretty messed up.
Yeah. And it's not something you've
look
done
away.
super often in front of them either. For the first 2 seasons, I don't think you did it at all.
Is it kind of like watching, like, you know, when you wear when you're wearing a VR headset, and every now and again, if things kind of move the wrong way, you get really kind of woozy and disorientated.
Probably a little bit. I'm thinking more yeah, I think it's several. It happens asymmetrically as well, and you can never really predict it. So,
You know what
like,
it probably looks like from the outside is the cover of an Animorphs book.
yeah, that's exactly what I just didn't want to say it.
Yeah.
I've mentioned Animorph several times in the last little while, and I was just like,
No,
yeah,
I got you.
that-
Animorphs
yeah.
was the bomb.
Yeah,
Is
Yeah.
this where I tell you I've never read any animals?
really? Wow.
No.
Like
Me neither, but
Animorphs-
I've seen
I mean-
the covers. Very bad.
Yeah, they're awful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
They're not
remember the
particularly
covers.
well written.
No.
The covers were like it just wasn't a YA book series that I ever dabbled in.
Tell you what
K.A.
though, the
Applegate
TV
was pounding them out
show.
once a month. They were being released on
Yeah.
a monthly basis, so of course they were badly
Damn.
written. They didn't have anyone time to edit. Yeah, and look,
Yeah.
my friend Christian and I took it in turns to buy them when they came out, and yeah, the day after they came out, one of us had read them and the other was halfway through. Like we
How big are
pounded those. Oh, about 150 pages, but I was 10.
Damn.
There were some.
It was slightly more
longer
grown up
ones.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah, there was some sort of special one-off edition sort of things. There was one about the Alarmist, which was really cool. So some
There was
really
one
interesting
where
lore.
they went back in time and could turn into dinosaurs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a really, really neat concept that was executed perfectly well for a teenager, for a non-critical teenage mind, and the TV show was okay. I was like, this didn't need to be a TV show. This was fine as books.
If you watch the first episode of that show, you will probably recognize several young versions of actors.
Yeah.
That are
Now doing quite well.
like probably C-list celebrities, but there's at least one of them is still doing stuff. He was in X-Men and a bunch of stuff.
Really? I need to check this out now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Oh shoot, Iceman was in it.
Oh yeah. He was Jake. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. It's quite good. The aliens in it. I mean, I referenced it. I was referencing it on Tuesday night when Karen and I were playing Host because the aliens in it, the principal enemy in it, the world is being invaded by slugs that live in your brain and control what you do. And
is it
they
Zerks?
use Yeerks. Yeah.
Yes.
And the Yeerks sort of flatten themselves out and wrap themselves around your brain and control you. So you are a prisoner in your own mind. And they learn everything you know, so they can impersonate you perfectly. And they just take your place in society. And they have to leave once every 3 days to swim around in some sludge, so that you get locked in a prison, then they slither out of your brain, and then some large aliens hold you in place while they slither back in again after they've had a swim. It's really quite messed up. And then these teenagers meet a dying alien of a species that's been fighting them, who have developed the technology to morph into other animals that they touch and absorb the sort of the genetic information of. And he's dying, and he's like, look, I can't save your world, so here's the ability to turn into animals, maybe. The 5 of you do it. And they're like, the fuck? And they do, and they successfully save Earth and whatever. And it's really cool. And later on, they become good friends with his younger brother, who also crash lands on Earth. Yeah, it's a whole thing, and it's... I could talk passionately about it for an hour. It's a really good series. I started on book 3, and then I immediately went back to 1 and 2. It was a birthday present, I think. Someone thought I would enjoy it. They were fucking right. My mum hated them because, it was nothing. It was my pre-Warhammer obsession. It was my first, I would say, probably my first hyperfan.
Ah, interesting.
And then I traded it for Warhammer. Anyway,
Look, I
Eric, you
was
turned
usually
into a
into
beetle.
Animorphs too, so we can just do a stream sometime talking.
Karen, remember when we used to play D&D? That was fun times.
No idea.
Yeah.
So Eric unsettlingly turns into a beetle. His feathers become sort of all flat and then go shiny, and then his carapace sort of forms. A pair of secondary legs erupt from his chest. At around about the same time, his waist shrinks tiny. And balloons out. His tail balloons out into an abdomen, and at which point you go, "Look, I'm not watching anymore." That's and then he starts shrinking, and you buzz on up to your mum's room, and within you can the window it has been left open conveniently, and within is a trio of individuals, 2 Corvum and a Gallus. The Corvum are recognizably your mother and father, Aria and August.
Yes.
And the Gallus you don't recognize. He is a dapper-looking gentleman, however. It's like frock coat and tails, like a two-tone shoes, the whole 9 yards. A pocket watch, a monocle, and he is carrying a large leather bag. He has a stethoscope around his neck.
Yeah.
What he does is clearly obvious, but you've never seen the man before. Actually, he is the family doctor. You probably would know him. This man is named Phasian, and he's the family doctor. And he is giving your mum a checkup. He has got the stethoscope up to his ears and says, "One more deep breath. Splendid, splendid. I rest now. I shall just lightly on your knee. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Ah, splendid, splendid, marvelous. Well, I have good news. I have a couple of bits of good news, actually, my dear. Firstly, there appears to be no further degradation. If anything, you're looking better, I would say. Well, this fresh air, sunlight, is doing her the world of good, August. You're doing a splendid job. I have, as you requested of me, I have done a little bit more digging, and I have found a potential cure. There is, however, a rub on it. You see, the cure. Well, actually, amusingly, the cure is a rub. Oh, pardon, sorry. Yes, the Vinder blossom. No, sorry, that's not what it's called. That's the other thing. There's a solution, a tonic, could be made with, unfortunately, some rather rare components. One of which simply cannot be obtained within the wood. In fact, it must be used fresh. It only grows in the lands around Anvil's Rest. Which, as I'm sure you know, is across the sea to the south. It must be plucked and almost immediately tossed into the cauldron. If it has been dried or preserved or left in any way untended for any amount of time, its properties are useless, as is the entire potion, which will cost you several gold pieces to several hundred gold pieces to replace. So one must make it in situ, as it were, and it must be tailored specifically for the recipient. So one cannot simply go out and buy the tonic, even if it was made in Anvil's Rest. That does would seem to indicate to be a good positive restorative for yourself. That is as far as my researchers have taken me. On this plane, that is probably your best bet. And August, he is addressing this to Area, but it is more to August. He knows that if someone's going to get this, it's August, not her. And he says, anyway, I believe you are making good progress. It is a long road to recovery, as we know. But I do believe, even without this, it is a long journey and one that does not have any guarantees, unless you have someone else you could send. So, until that point, I don't believe she's going to die, August. And Area at this point says, I have good days and bad days. Today was a good one. And Eric, were your parents affectionate to each other?
Not in public. Not and by public I mean
even with you,
around anyone else.
Yeah. Then it is noteworthy that she smiles fondly at him. You would know that he has been, his whole job is basically her. He was brought in to father good, strong offspring and then assist with the raising of them, and seeing as the boys have literally flown the coop, his principal responsibility now is Area. And he smiles gruffly back like a... It was a lovely day. Thank you.
I would like
Phasium.
to roll... Can I roll an insight check?
You may.
I want to determine if for either of them this is a transactional relationship rather than one that was made from love.
Oh, okay.
That's a natural 20, so 28.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah.
From the snippet,
Yeah. From the way they look at each other.
I think the last time you spent any decent amount of time with them, which was several years ago, at that point, their relationship would still have been very much a wife and her second-class husband. But this illness, because she wasn't sick when you left, this illness has given him an opportunity to demonstrate they've grown closer because of it. They are, if not in love, he loves her. In fact, you would probably have said he has always loved her. She has become, if not in love, then at least deeply fond of him. Not just grateful, but he clearly gets something out of the relationship too. He clearly... Yeah, this is not one way. This is not transactional. It may have started out that way. In fact, it definitely did. But, yeah. A crow of fine breeding stock. Exactly. Vanesco. Exactly. The Shadow Malts are a breed.
Yeah.
A breed apart and
Dad
above.
was definitely raised literally for this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not quite to the point of inbreeding, but there are a few families whose jobs it is to, upon need, provide a suitable partner. And the fact that Greeky did not avail himself of that service was a very big issue at the time. It still probably is. Particularly given Aria's illness.
Yeah.
And the fact that she did not herself produce a daughter in a matriarchal family.
Yeah. And that, I mean, Ereq would have been the first in line to marry, and that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now it is on Wraith, and Wraith is not okay with that either.
Yeah.
Not that Ereq is fully aware of that. I swear Ereq and Wraith did talk.
I don't think they did.
No, okay.
I don't remember it.
I'll check the VODs. That's the point of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I will flutter away.
So Phasian, August says, I'll show you out, Phasian. Thank you. And yeah, he goes to take Phasian to the door. He says, I'll be back in a moment, love. And he takes Phasian out. This is an offer that you are welcome to say no to.
Yeah. But
You can't turn back into a bug after. You can
Yeah.
teleport, though. You can't summon hope.
Nope. And even if I could, I would be teleporting in a blaze of fire.
Scorch marks on your mum's roof. Probably not a...
Are there any powders or like crumbs of food or anything in the room? I don't know if bird folk use makeup, but yeah, just I basically want to
Cosmetics, I imagine they probably do. I think it's sort of dyes, temporary dyes for feathers. You could definitely do like eyeshadow and stuff like that. Possibly colourful flashes on the beak. decorations for your claws. I imagine rings are very popular among bird folk. Yeah. Possibly piercings. A nose piercing would not be the... Oh, how common. It would be... oh, that's fancy.
Yeah. Okay.
I leave it to the players, but I suppose, yeah, that...
Yeah, So what I'm thinking is...
There would not be any... Unless, you know, the occasional scattered crumb, but August takes good care of her. The room is tidy.
Yeah.
When the food is done, he takes it away, or someone else does.
Yeah, absolutely. The only issue is I'm not sure what to say or what message to leave.
You can always just come back when your granny goes.
Yeah. I think about it, and then I decide not to, and I flutter away.
Interesting. Very well, then I think we'll leave it there. And Eric, you level up.
Yo. Cool.
Interesting character choice. Milestone. Yeah. Nice. Very cool. Splendid. Well, guys, thank you very much for playing with me this evening. Thank you. It's been a fairly lore-heavy, fairly role-play-heavy evening for us, but very cool. Really enjoyed it. Yeah. Awesome. Well, let us change the mood, let us change the music, and do what we like to do at the end of our... That's moody music, we don't want that. What we like to do at the end of our streams, we do our favourite moments! Whee! Where we talk about all the things that we did well today, because it's been a cracking stream, and being a creative is hard, and it's nice to be affirmed by your friends. And we were all a bit sort of low ebb when we came in, and we've really lifted, and I think, yeah... Being creative is fun as well. So, the new way, the new method, the way we do this is we have somebody in chat. Vanesco, if you are still around, I would love you to do it. Or Esteban. Esti, the character illustrations are very cool. Those are the work of one Daria, surname redacted. Daria is our channel artist and is currently in the process of updating all these character arts. And also she has Kitty.
And also, I'm open for commissions.
This is also true. But Mitsof, I asked you
Particularly
first.
fairy porn.
Yeah, if you've got any
Only
fairy porn. Yeah. I just got here when we met the doctor. Well, Vanesco, I would still like you to roll a d4 in chat for me, please. If you roll ! Roll space the number 4, that will determine who we talk about first. Love some good fairy porn. No, furry, but fairy as well. We could do that.
Yeah, that's doable.
Pow pow! I said furry porn. Here.
Yeah, they are coming all out of the woodworks. Let's go. !
Roll space the number 4. So, like this.
Like this. Pow Pow 216 is down for the fairy porn.
Vanesco
Hey,
got a 4.
you both
We're talking
rolled a
about
4.
Eric. Weird. It seems to does mimics, but we are talking about Eric first of all. Thank you very much, Vanesco. So, favorite Eric moments, guys. Favorite Brendan. What do we think?
I have one.
Yes.
I really liked that. Well, first of all, Eric took charge of like the planning where we are in his town, which is very, very apropos. And also, I really enjoyed that we got a pretty in-depth look into his like teenage room, and like the descriptions were very good and very gave a lot of like insight into his childhood, I think.
I liked how well thought out where the room was, because I was like, yeah, my first instinct obviously canopy, but yeah, you were completely right. That was far more his vibe. That was a really nice touch. But it's already been mentioned, so I'm going to talk about something else. I liked broaching the subject of like, hey Cash, that very first conversation was a really like it didn't really go anywhere. It didn't really do anything. It was just a nice check-in of these two who have been traveling and adventuring together longer than anybody else in of the party. And yeah, this sidekicks, this pair who have been together through quite a lot now, and Julio has been around for a lot of it as well, but not since the very, very, very beginning. They even went to this wedding together, and yeah, it was interesting. I really liked that. The insight into his cloaca. Bishop Blood, what are we going to do with you? Karen, what do you think?
I liked Ereqs' kind of confidence in Julio and Kesh. He's just like, we've talked it through. I'm just gonna be a beetle now. You got this. You got this. You cool, right? He's not that I don't think he doesn't have faith in them, but you know, we're in his hometown, and he just was like, "Oh, I'm checking out, but you got this right." And there was a moment where I'm trying to communicate with the beetle, and you did kind of like a little beetle dance.
Yeah, that was very cute. Brendan, favorite self?
Yeah, it's probably a tie between the room and the check-in with Cash at the beginning. Yeah, it was important to Ereq to establish, you said all the right things, that's cool and all, good job leading, but like, I'm talking to Kesh the person now. Do you believe what you said? Are you okay? Do you need me to coach you?
Yeah.
So that was important to Ereq to do that check-in, and I feel like it reaffirmed them both, and it was Ereq's chance to also say, yeah, look, I'm with you.
Lovely. Alrighty. Well, now we need Esty. Esty, could you please roll me a D3 in chat, please? ! Roll space 3. Me being 1, Karen being 3. We will see who goes next. Roll space the number 3. And if anybody else wants to chuck them up in there as well, if we get more than one result, we will go in that order. I just like to involve the lovely new people. And yes, if you do have any commissions for Daria, check it out. Chaotic Platypus gets a 2. And then Pow Pow gets a 3. Alrighty, we will do Daria and then Karen. Splendid. Thank you very much, guys. So, let's talk about Daria first. Favorite Julio moments. Karen, go for it.
Julio just looking that woman in the print shop in the eye and saying,
yes,
I am a spy and I'm on a mission and you will help me. Also, he's a massive bag of gold.
And then Bishop Blunt rolls a 1 because I'm not allowed to get away with not having favorite moments of my own. All right. Noted, Bishop Blood. My favorite Daria moment. The milk.
The milk.
The justification of why. Why does milk?
It was kind of like a laid-back session for Julio. I was just mostly like listening and nodding.
Yeah. I do like. Here's a Daria thing more than a Julio thing. You save your thing until the end, but you always have some really interesting, sort of insightful questions about sort of for the lore. You always go hunting for that little bit of extra flavor and lore. So actually, my favorite Julio moment would be asking about the religious vibe of the town, prompting me to do a bit more world building, a bit more lore building that I hadn't genuinely considered. Like, it's not hard to work out what it would have been, but I hadn't actually written it down. So yeah, that was cool. Good job. Brendan?
I had something and then it completely disappeared, so...
Wafted from your brain, yep. Daria, favorite self, while Brendan tries to waft it back in.
Tries to waft it. I think Julio's like he's a hair trigger away from like putting some makeup on his party members at any point in time. Give us any opportunity. He's like, oh, I got this.
I can dress you up like Nevermore. Come here. Come here.
Oh, you can shapeshift. Ooh, that's cringe.
Yeah.
Here's a wig instead.
Bishop Blood says, "Hi, I'm Julio, the Tree Pope." What the fuck is that? Yeah, whatever. Yeah, Tree Pope. What? Yeah.
Yeah. I remember what it was now. It was the first. I purposely tried not to mention the wedding because I knew that Julio got triggered by it, but there was a bit of a mention of it and Julio kind of grunting a bit, but then Julio saying, "Oh, remember the wedding that you two went to, and I didn't go to."
Yep.
And Cash and Eric
That
were
I'm
like,
definitely
"What?
not still salty about.
You didn't
Yeah,
go?"
that's also
Yeah,
I've really enjoyed this session for several sort of. There's been some almost nods to the camera, sort of almost meta conversations in character. And it was like, yeah, that's weird, isn't it? Like with several different characters today. Yeah. Cool. Alrighty. Splendid. And chat, if you have favorite moments for us as well, if you have things that you particularly enjoyed, please shout it out. Tell us what we think about Karen. Favorite Karen moments. Favorite Cash. Cash did a lot of the heavy lifting on the RP today, particularly when talking to the Scottish bar hedge. Meta,
I have something.
Does.
I really enjoyed how like candid and down to earth Cash was in that first conversation with Eric. He's like, "Oh, do you really believe?" She's like, "Well, I do, but it's gonna be difficult." And she's like, she's not mincing words, but she's being like very honest, but also comforting at the same time. I really like it. She's not like epically, "Yes, we can do all of it." She's like, "Yeah, that's a bit of a shit situation, but like, you know, I like that."
I'm so comforting. Well, it's all going to shit, but it'll probably be even more shit if we don't do anything. So.
Yeah,
but that's what
it's
Eric
very
was
realistic.
asking for. Like he wanted that down to earth, so that he could then kind of reassure Cash. So, yeah.
Bishop Blood, like Eric calling her chief again. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
classic.
Cute. Love that with Cash. Yeah. I really liked I like Cash playing it cool. Particularly in the conversation with Dog. That was like, she was doing a really good job of the undercover. Yeah, give me all the goss. Hello, barkeep. Spill me the beans. Yeah, exactly. That whole conversation was really well done. It was, you found the right turn. You were picking up what I was putting down or what he was putting down, and it was really nicely acted. It had a really good vibe. We were mirroring each other really well. It was interesting.
Yeah, that was probably my favorite Cash moment as well. It was very well done. I think she said all the right things, and also Cash did a really good job of representing Eric well.
Glad you approve.
Yeah, well, I mean, she could have gone the opposite way and just been anti-Shadow Malts altogether, but and Eric would have just had to have sat there and listened to it.
And he'd have been okay with it, I feel, like, unless she was like, "Oh, Eric, he's just one of those Shadow Malts, what a dickhead." But like, he would, if she'd just been like bad-mouthing the Shadow Malts and not bringing up Eric specifically, he would have been like, "Yeah, we suck."
I said the particular line that
sorry, carry on.
The particular line that I liked was Eric's spiritual awakening.
Yes.
Damn it! You took my moment, Brendan.
Sorry.
I really liked as a particular point. Kesh never mentioned where she was from or what her name was.
Yeah.
Even when talking to Mark, yeah, I really liked that. That was really cool. Like, you all did that, but Kesh was obviously taking the lead in it, and it was really good.
But at the same time, another thing that I really enjoyed was Kesh, like, convinced that the barkeep and Eric are best friends forever, and he deserves to know everything. I was good.
You know this guy really well, don't you? Nope.
Oh, aye, yes. Eric drinks a lot. You know this, famously.
Yeah.
He was
Look,
the one who
you don't
didn't
have
drink
to be
when
a
you got
drinker
to
to want to
community.
hang out in a bar.
I, speaking as an ex-barman of 7 years, yes, you fucking do. You do have to do it more than once. Let's put it that way. I heard through the grapevine that the Wildwood Brigade was up to stuff. Not me, though. Never me. I'm innocent in all of this. Yeah. Karen, favorite self? Any others come to you?
Since Brendan took my spiritual awakening moment, I'm gonna say I really enjoyed like describing what we very much did. As if, I just heard about this crazy shit that went down.
Yeah, that was
and I
very cool.
definitely
Yeah.
had nothing to do with it
Yeah.
at all.
Talking about it in the third person, to the point where the barman is actually not 100% sure if you were involved or not. It's
I'm
like
so mysterious.
he could deniably say, I'm pretty sure she wasn't. Like, she was just recounting the tale as she saw it. Yeah. Cool. All right. Someone roll a 1. Favorite me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try and get out of it.
fucking Mark just casually turning up on the street, like, oh hey!
Well, because I sat down and worked out how long it would have taken him to get back, and you were going to Brackenmill. I was like, he would have gotten back no more than 2 days ago. He probably hasn't left yet. All right, let's make him part of the story.
The way you set up his appearance, I could almost hear the audience applauding like a cameo of a favorite, like,
Turns out
character. Like, oh, you're looking for me?
Oh my god, it's Mark! We love Mark!
Like, so funny.
Mark is played by Brad Pitt in the film, yeah.
Yeah. And just in general, I really liked his like family, his wife. He was so like, he felt very realistic. Like the way he was talking, it wasn't like overdone or anything. He was just like, he was a chill dude, and I like him.
Thank you. He's an everyman.
For something,
You don't get to
for
meet
something
very
that
many.
started
As a joke.
for something that started as a gimmick, he was remarkably well fleshed out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bishop Blood says I did basically exactly that. It was, yay, Mark's back! Yeah. So was everyone's favorite moment Mark?
No.
All hail Mark.
Although it's funny because I was thinking about Mark and I was like, oh, if Benneck was still with us, I would have asked him
Hey,
to
someone
send to Mark to just say, hey, what's the vibe?
Don't you have sending?
No.
Oh.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, wizard things.
Wizard shit, man.
Yeah. But no, I mean, obviously we're getting heavy into Eric's backstory territory at the moment, and so I appreciate all the work and care that you're putting towards that, and even to the town of Brackenmill itself. But my favorite DM moment was actually a really simple one, of describing in the pub the little girl feeding her unwanted salad to the silkworm that was sticking its head in the window.
Yeah.
That was adorable.
That was cute. Bishop Blood liked the brief discussion about the Amaranthine. Yeah. Yeah, the Amaranthine have received an awful lot more lore in the last week. I don't normally do my world building out of game. Other than like in my actual sit down to prep that particular session, it's all just sort of I can derive it from the logic that I understand, my basic understanding of the world in my head on the fly, and I often do. But I got talking to Rhythm in the Mind about the lore surrounding the Amaranthine, and pinned down exactly what they are, because why do we call them Amaranthines if they're gods? Here's the trick, they're not. And they're not like god-level gods. So the lore that I leveled on these guys with at the beginning of the sesh, before we started, is that the Amaranthine are a lower tier of god. There are higher tiers of god. In the world, in the lore, it is not well known, but the elemental planes are deities. Quiescent, sleeping gods that are extrusions of themselves, little parts of, are independently sentient and capable. So yeah, young gods, elder gods, outer gods, that sort of thing. Exactly, Bishop Blood. So yeah, that's fun lore. There is so much more, but I don't want them to just be told it. I want them to find it out.
Oh, thank goodness we're going to poke around a chapel soon.
Well, maybe. Yeah, cool. My favorite me moment. I managed to include 2 bought NPCs today. Because Phasian is a bought NPC from the wonderful Fox Call of a while ago. There is a picture in our Discord of Phasian, actually, a very dapper-looking gentleman rooster. Yes, Robbie Hoodie, yes. Save it for 10 and buy your own NPC. Bishop Blood, the Great Rhythm is entirely what it's about. I'm not going to go into too much detail on the matter, but yes, Ardea and Titon made a deal to maintain the Great Rhythm. They are the yin and the yang. They are balance, and it's their whole thing. Is that lore, but that's not. It didn't happen in the session, so it doesn't count. But yeah, I liked involving the 2 of them. I liked, because I have quite a list of NPCs that have been bought, and we need to have some games that don't happen in the wood so that I can include a couple of them, because one of them is a monkey called My Guy, one of them is Snivel the Kobold, and Wretch et al. Is a goblin necromancer, none of which fit comfortably in the Humblewood. So unless I did another plane jumper, so yeah, I'm gonna have to slot them into Candlekeep or something else. Wretch et al. Is just a shitty healer who doesn't realize that he's actually raising people from the dead. He just thinks his name is literally late healer backwards. I did not create this. I think it's funny. So yeah, I'm glad that I was able to include them, and I liked how much I was able to give them. I liked Dog McCall. I liked Phasian. They were both fun to give a little sort of cameo to. They'd probably be, other than Mark, my favorite moment. Mark's argument with Claire was fucking fun to play.
Yes.
The sort of the husband and wife, not argument but bicker, like this fight that they've had loads of times. It's Karen and my style fighting, where we bicker constantly, but we haven't ever actually argued properly. Yeah, love a good Mark. Cool. Any other favorite me's, or shall we go away from here now?
Oh, it's getting quite late. We should
Let's go away from here now.
go raid somebody.
Yes, indeedy. We should go and raid. So, guys, we need to find somebody to raid. Let's have a looklet. The Art of Mike Disney is streaming. The Kilobits is streaming Star Wars Jedi Survivor. We could drop another raid on Dice Sylvania. Maybe let's go and find. Do we have any suggestions in chat? From who to raid, because Art of Mike Disney will be painting minis, which I really want to drop you guys on some more D&D. So let's look for Dungeons and Dragons channels. D20 Deathmatch.
That's a good name.
It is.
Yeah.
They're playing a one shot as well.
Oh, excellent.
Well, then I think we will drop a raid on them. Streaming a rerun. Yeah, it's a rerun, damn it. Well, we can still raid a rerun. Blah. It's not what I want. I want something else. Guys, entertain people while I look.
Okay.
No, actually, tell you what. Do your sign-outs, would you?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Right. Maybe we
Yes.
should do it in the same order as we talked about our characters.
That is a good idea as well.
Great.
that means
I will
Brendan goes
start then, I
first.
guess. Yep.
Yep.
Hello, I'm Brendan, and something to entertain yourselves with is go into the Discord, and in the creative art panel, I scrolled back to find the art of Phasian or Phasian or whatever
Phasian.
his name is.
Yep.
And found it all the way back from November of last year. So I replied, so you should be able to see it in the recent messages, but he looks really cool.
Awesome. I know who we're going to raid. We're going to
Cool.
raid Absalom Dak. They are streaming. They are doing some map making and some world building on World
Excellent.
Anvil, so we will do that. Because everybody else is either doing... there was one, but they were in German. And my German's rusty. I don't know about the rest of you guys. Daria has a head for languages, but the rest of us, I don't know. So we shall see. But yeah, Art of Mike Disney's painting minis, but no other RPG streams. Well, let's go and raid Absalom Dak, because they were here earlier.
Yeah.
So, yes, Karen, who the absolute heck are you? And I'm going to type ! Brendan in chat. So
Hi,
people
I
know
am Karen,
Brendan.
sometimes known as the Mother of Bunnies. I am a performer and writer. You can follow me on Twitter at Mother O Bunnies, where I rant and retweet bunny pictures. Or you can find me here, usually on Monday and Thursday nights, streaming with my partner in crime, Josh the Pirate. Or you can follow my burlesque alter ego, Miss Lolamore, on Instagram. I'm also performing on Saturday night, so if you live in Perth, Western Australia, you can find me at the Nostalgia Bar at 8 p.m. doing my Austin Powers tribute act. Or you
great.
can listen to me in the D&D podcast, There Be Dragons, available whenever you frickin' feel like it on your preferred podcasting platform.
Splendid. Polly's partner in piracy. Yes, Bishop Blood. Daria, you surname redacted person. Who the heck are you?
My name is Daria. I'm an artist and I play here on Thursdays. That's about it. I hope you have a wonderful day.
Commission her for furry porn or fairy porn, any other porn. And Madame et Monsieur, Dame und Herren, and
Porn
beings of
only.
Porn
No
only.
normal art. Don't interact.
Just porn.
But, well, what if I only want a lewd?
No,
Could you
you
do
gotta
lewd?
commit. Commit to the bit. It's dicks or nothing.
Okay.
Oh, only dicks.
Dicks all the way
No, not
down.
only, but it has to
okay.
be at least one dick. That's in the
What
contract.
about a cloaca?
Yes.
Yif. Yeah, I know it's called Yif. Yes. Oh, the Lorite has sent you a commission. Sent you a DM, Daria. There you
Oh,
go.
wink.
Interesting.
I'm
okay,
disturbed that the
I
DM
see,
was sent
immediately,
after
Dario.
this conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, Laura, if it's Yif, I want to see. Yeah, Madame et Monsieur, Dame und Herren, and beings of indeterminate gender and persuasion, I be Josh the Pirate. You can find me here on my channel, playing D&D and other RPG-related streams and systems. We've got a Teens in Space temporary every now and again campaign. We have a Candlekeep campaign, which I would like to have come back. Karen wants to do have 3 other people other than me create their ultimate level 20 combat machine, and then we do a 2-on-2 deathmatch. Which would be pretty cool. So a couple of other people need to make a match for Ultimork the Uber Orc. See if you can find something that can beat my Berserker Barbarian Cross whatever. We have a YouTube if you want to check out all of our previous episodes you may have missed. It is there. You can also check out all of my wonderful little mini-series about episodes about multi-classes you may not have considered with Yusuf! I'm sure my Tabaxi Sorcerer Laughing Rain could be convinced to model for the right price. Interesting. Cool.
Like the only person that might survive against the orc could be like an archdruid, perhaps.
Yeah. Just keeps
That can
turning
be
into
good.
animals. Yeah.
Just keep being a dragon. Easy.
Well,
I
you
mean,
can't. They can't
one
dragons.
casting of true polymorph on that
Yeah.
barbarian will probably shut him down.
Well, until it's done, and then he's back.
Unless it's true polymorph, baby.
Yeah.
Oh right, yeah, true polymorph, not normal.
You
Yeah,
just
yeah.
have to concentrate on it for an hour, and then he's a bug for
Yeah.
the rest.
But that's
and-
why 2 people against 2, right?
Yeah,
You
this
can
is
get
it. You need somebody
concentration
to counterspell that shit. He has a shit wisdom. Because it is a build that requires 4 stats. You need a good charisma, a really good strength and con, and a good dex, ideally. Ascendant Dragon Monk Moon Druid multi-class build stress test time. Yeah, I'm up for that. This is the thing. Or what I wanted to do was a level 20 fight against like a Tarrasque and have 4 of them see how quick they could kill a Tarrasque, because I like collaborative rather than versus.
Yeah. You know what I would like to do? I have a level 13 character that has 1 level in every class that I would like to
Ooh.
see how stupid it is.
All the
It
level
has
1
like
abilities.
almost every cantrip.
It would do,
yeah. You reminded me talking about crap abilities, because it needs to have basically every ability score
Yeah.
above a certain level. Yeah.
It's a 13s across the board.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, legally it does. I would argue it's funnier if it doesn't. Like, if you want to have a suboptimal multiclass, you go for your life. If you want to be a bard with a charisma of 7, be my guest. You'll have 1 bardic inspiration forever.
Yeah.
Cool. Alrighty. Well, that's us and all of us and the things. We have all the socials. Karen, tell me about Ukraine.
Ukraine. Oh god, it's
right?
terrible timing. Yeah, I'm just really tired. Ukraine. You may have heard about the war in Ukraine over the last year. Unfortunately, it's still very much going on. So if you are able to donate some dollars to help the Ukrainian people, the first link is for the Emergency Action Appeal. It's just straight up a list of charities from Australia that you can donate to help Ukrainian refugees, or you can purchase yourself a lovely copy of the Curious Compendium of Slavic Myth, and those proceeds go to the British Red Cross Appeal for Ukraine. It's a wonderful little 38-page D&D booklet. It's got creatures, it's got subclasses, it's got a one-shot, it's got a gorgeous map inspired by Ukraine. It's lovely, and it's only £1, though you can give more if you can or are willing to do so.
Splendid. And last thing we need to talk about today, Jasper's Game Week is coming up in a couple of weeks. It's super exciting. Karen and I will both be playing, as will a couple of other of our lovely friends. AJ Winters will be there. Owen from The Lost Archives will be there, which is going to be super exciting. MVCDM, Cato Sullivan, Robert Hartley GM will be running a game. I will be running a game. Matt Brown from Split the Party will be running a game that Karen is playing in. Jack Squarepeg is coming to play in my game, along with a couple of other people. Obviously, almost all of them have a couple of other people.
Many people.
It is
All the
going
people.
to be a heck of a cool game. I've got... I'm playing in MVCDM's game with Ben Kieran from Dungeons Doctorates and Sean Sunday from Brain Beast Studios, which is going to be fun. Never met any of those people. That's going to be cool. Though I know the MVCDM is a bloody awesome guy. I've got Heath from the Antipodean D20, Jack Squarepeg, and Dragoncore on my game on the Friday. And on the Saturday, I'm playing with LeBoffin and D20 in the game of Kendall Drury from One for All. And Karen is playing with Matt and a couple of other people whose names I do not remember.
I'm sure
You
they're all
remember?
very cool, groovy people.
They are very cool and groovy people, otherwise they would not have been asked to be a part of it. If you are interested in joining us at any of those teams yourself, you can by heading to the link in chat and bidding on one of the seats at the tables. There, the games are spread out over about 12 hours, so it'll suit most time zones. And yeah, we would love to have you there. Currently, seats at my table are bidding for around the $25 to $30 mark. So a very reasonable price, all to an excellent charity. This is all goes to mental health, teenage mental health So very cool, very useful. So guys, thank you so much for joining us this evening. We will be back. Karen and I will be back on Monday night for some more Josh and Karen review. I will be back on Tuesday night for another Tactics Tuesday, where I will be looking at more indie games. And this lovely stream of Monsters and Magic, this team will be back, same bat time, same bat channel, next Thursday night for more of Eric's family shenanigans. And we will go and drop a raid on Absalom Dak. So throw your favorite raid emotes up in chat. Tell Dak where we came from. Show them the love like we always do. Smash the follow button. And we will see you, hopefully, next week, if not before. Say goodbye, everybody.
May the Fourth be with you.
Yes, may the Fourth be with you.
Stargate.
I hate it so much. Bye, guys.